When I got into this, again, I was in Sunni Islam, had a beard, whole 9 yards, couldn't tell me nothing about the Prophet. The brother Kamar Gabriel is the one that opened my eyes to this information. I wonder why he was challenging the police officers the way he was challenging the police officers. He used to wear a fez on his head. Didn't understand him. Didn't know where he was coming from. Like, who is this dude? Like, why is he doing it? Now, mind you, I've been studying this information for a long time, but not on the level of this Moorish information.
My own research, I called it, okay, they sent me an email with the address of the property and the zip code. So I took the zip code and I googled it, and they gave me that was Montgomery County. Then I called them and then I asked questions about the property. I said, can I buy this? Somebody's trying to sell it to me. And they say, yeah, there's no problem with it. You can buy yourself. And you have no mortgage, you have nothing. The property is all yours.
I got into this, again, I was in Sunni Islam, had a beard, whole 9 yards, couldn't tell me nothing about the Prophet. The brother Kamar Gabriel is the one that opened my eyes to this information. I wonder why he was challenging the police officers the way he was challenging the police officers. He used to wear a fez on his head. Didn't understand him. Didn't know where he was coming from. Like, who is this dude? Like, why is he doing it? Now, mind you, I've been studying this information for a long time, but not on the level of this Moorish information.
In my own research, they sent me an email with the address of the property and the zip code. So I took the zip code and I googled it, and they gave me that was Montgomery County. Then I called them, and then I asked questions about the property. I said, can I buy this? Somebody's trying to sell it to me. And they said, yeah, there's no problem with it. You can buy yourself, and you have no mortgage, you have nothing. The property is all yours.
That's cat. No mortgage, stop. Hey, yo, we gotta stop falling for like crazy. Hey, man, when you know, you know. When you don't know, you don't know. But y'all gonna learn today, man. There's a lot out here. Listen. All this stuff about you getting out of parole early, some status correction, sovereignty bullshit package. You don't pay child support, you don't pay taxes and all this other stuff. Like, yo, y'all gotta just stop, man. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all making this too difficult. We're already living a difficult life via racism or systemic racism. We already living a difficult life via systemic racism. Let's not pile on some bullshit afterwards. You dig? That's where I'm at right now. Let's stop making our plight more difficult. All of a sudden, you could buy a house without a mortgage, with no down payment. Like, we gotta stop. All right. Anyway, let's go on to what Tariq Nasheed experienced, and I'm gonna go on to what I have experienced myself yesterday with a Plebiscite Babbler. So check this out.
Let me get one more good one in here. Y'all raise your hand. Raise your hand. Melanin American. Let me get Melanin American in the building. Melanin American, what's happening?
Oh man, what's up, Tariq?
What's other?
All right, man. I know you're gonna roast me for this question, man, or not this question, but it's a slight criticism. On constructive criticism.
Hopefully it's based in fact. If it's not like
like
it's not.
Well, you can educate me on this because
it sounds
I see a
dumb
little
already.
problem with the terminology of foundational Black American.
How so?
Well, because number one is redundant, because foundational Black American. Okay,
here we
so
go.
I will ask you this. Why not just foundational Americans if Black people are the foundation?
Mm-hmm.
Because that opens the door for whites to say, well, we're foundational whites, and other people to say, well, we're foundational this. If Blacks are the foundational Americans, why not just foundational Americans? And why hold on to Black? That's a problematic term too.
Sovereign bullshit.
And the last part is the American part. Like, if we were here, if we're indigenous to this land before it was America, why keep America attached? Because America has a lot of blood on its hands. That name carries like a curse. So why would we adopt that? That whole name to me is problematic.
How so?
Unless it's just temporary.
How's the name problematic?
Well, kind of what I just listed out is it has redundancies. It opens up the door for other people to claim that they're foundational, other ethnic groups.
Not if the word Black is there.
Like I said, even just alone, if Blacks are the foundational Americans, we could just leave the Black part out.
Now, why do you have a problem with the word Black?
Here we go.
Wrong with Black.
Here go to more science.
Because
bullshit.
I feel like that's a term that was put on us as to put us in like a racial caste system and place us at the bottom. We went from Negro, which is
Peace, Urban,
a
mute.
variant of Black. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that we embraced it and we turned it into something, but it's not a name that we originally called ourselves. That's my problem with that.
What?
Well, the thing is, different circumstances, people call themselves different names. All ethnic groups based on
Peace, Pinky.
circumstances, like
Mod
certain
Squad,
Indians.
definitely.
Creek Indians, they didn't call themselves Creek Indians. That was a name that the Europeans came and saw. I said, okay, you guys live by the creek, you're Creek Indians. So the thing is, Black,
Okay.
understand this, Black is not just a color. That signifies a lineage and a struggle. You
Good
understand?
afternoon.
And
Definitely a nice, lovely day where I'm at.
what country don't have
Hopefully
blood
you
on it
guys
by the
have the
white
same.
supremacists?
So, but why would we take America, which is it has nothing to do.
Okay, so Tariq just cooked him. He was trying to say, why call yourself American when there is so much blood tied to America? So Tariq said, all right, well, what country doesn't have bad blood tied to it? You dig? Like, what's an innocent country? So therefore there should be nobody claiming themselves after any country or continent, because they all got bad blood. So that was a good rebuttal question, but dude ain't gonna answer.
With
Okay.
Black, nothing, anything. America.
What country doesn't have white blood on it?
Look how quiet he got.
I mean, I couldn't tell you off the top of the head.
Show you none. Well, only one, North Sentinel Island. That's
okay. This is the problem when you guys be in your own world, researching by yourself, with nobody to check you to tell you how crazy you are, and then you calling somebody podcast that's live, like Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black. You know what I mean? That's going to give you so many views, and you make a fool out of yourself like this.
That's it. Well,
okay.
White blood, because they didn't kill the white people who went there. But yeah, every place, the white supremacists shed blood. So you can't just single out America. Black is not just a color. It's not just a melanin. It's based on a lineage. You understand? It's based on resistance.
Right. Hey, yo, you guys are so mad. Pan Nigeria in the chat. He said, Tariq's my leader. You're so mad. Well, is Marcus Garvey your leader? Pan Nigerian? Is Ibrahim Traore your leader? Pan Nigerian? Who's your leader? I don't have a leader. You could tell me who my leader is, but you make a fool of yourself. But who is your leader, Pan Nigerian? Because you came on in chat, you already got cooked. You didn't sound smart when you called in. You dig? I did. You didn't. So who's your leader making you sound like a fool?
We actually chose Black because they were saying Negro and the N-word and colored and all of that. We
ain't no
weren't
damn
just
war.
foundational because we were early Americans. We were foundational because we were the Black people whose free labor shaped the nation.
Mm-hmm.
So erasing Black, you're erasing the reason why America owes a debt to that. That's why we're not going to do just foundational American, because yeah, other people can kind of sleep in and try to say that they were the foundation of something. No. It's not.
Right. That's very important to state, is that when you erase Black, you basically erase enslavement. No, we're not falling for these talking points.
Foundational Black American. Foundational Black American is vague, is easily hijacked.
Okay, so you're looking at it in a political sense then.
No, just say, oh, you got some white people from the Mayflower who can say, well, we're foundational Americans.
Right. Now, Pan Nigerian, if you're so smart, go get a YouTube channel, right? Kick your knowledge, upload it, allow the public to, everybody to see it, make it very public. And if you're so smart, people should gravitate to it, bro. I guarantee you'll be a failure like everybody else that get a YouTube channel that try to give an alternative truth, bro. There's not more than one truth. You can't revise history. This is why you guys show up over here, because you love what I produce. I know that.
Well, foundational Black Americans, it protects the identity from appropriation and political delusion,
Okay, so all right, so there are other foundational Americans then aside from Black people.
No, they can try to play that game that they're foundational. Well, they can say like Thomas Jefferson, like the founding fathers. They can play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And this is my argument. And that's why I say, like, we didn't solely do everything. You did. Like, there were some white folks that contributed. No problem. And they might be foundational in their own right. But that don't discredit us, but the Chinese, the Japanese, and other folks cannot say they're foundational. Although they might have contributed here and there, they're not foundational. They came over here fleeing their country. Okay, let's keep it real. They fled their country. They were not enslaved. We were the only people enslaved. And you can argue certain British people didn't have much of a choice. Okay, you might argue that. But anybody else, like the Chinese, you dig, all those folks, Mexicans and other Latinos, and nah, this is where you guys wanted to come. So you endured what you endured and you contribute to what you contribute to, but you're not foundational.
Those were people who were they founded the Constitution. So technically, yeah, some of those guys, the Thomas Jeffersons, the George Washingtons.
Right, so Tariq is right here. So listen and write this down.
Yeah, we were just as.
So you see, Tariq, listen to what he's saying. That he's an historian. Is he perfect? No. But he's more right than he is wrong. And he's right here. Like, there are white people who are foundational. Like he said, the Thomas Jefferson, the founding fathers, and all those early whites that came over here and pledged to the allegiance and got naturalized. You dig? Because if you guys don't know, I studied the history of immigration here. So I know how people got naturalized and different ways they gained citizenship. I know a lot about the Dred Scott case that you guys couldn't fathom on a different level. My spin on it is what you guys never came to, right? You got it over here first. I do independent research and it's thorough. Yeah, but there are some white people who are foundational, and you might find somebody else who are, but we're stamping our claim. We're saying we're foundational. Black, right? There are no blacks other than us who are foundational. That's what we're pretty much saying. And we're not going to let people lie and say they're foundational either. Like, you got to state your claim. You got to stamp your claim. And we are here in your way. You dig? Prove your cause.
As instrumental and more important, and we're not white. We're foundational Black Americans. We were the labor force and the cultural force that built this up.
All right. So before biracial, dude, do you want to call in before we get this going? Let me before I continue, let me put the phone number in real fast. Because this is how I know when somebody's trolling. So once they don't call in, I get rid of them. By giving them the opportunity to prove they're not a troll. Okay, so biracial, this is for you. That's the dial in. So call that number. And then now here's the ID. Here's the meeting ID next. All right. So this is how I discern if you're not a troll. There you go. So now biracial, call that number right now in a real way, or I'm gonna block your ass in a real way, because I don't just block you if you're trolling, allegedly. I give you a chance to call in and express your thoughts.
So we want you to know exactly who did it. That's why Black is very, very important.
I wonder if we were the architects, though. I believe this country blacks were used.
Okay, now this is not an argument that somebody who goes under the identity of Black should be making, who's the architect. So this is what you expect from a non-Black person. It could be Chinese, Japanese, Hispanic, you dig, Indian, or white. You would expect this argument coming from one of them. But to be Black, okay, to identify yourself as Black, that means you were either enslaved or colonized by white people, ruled over, resource drained, left to basically die, you dig? And for you to make this argument right here, it just shows like what you're made of.
For labor, but the crafters of this nation were Anglo white men.
Really? How come they didn't craft that in Europe then?
Well, they left Europe because of persecution and came over here and did their own thing.
Okay, how did they come over here and magically know all of this stuff?
So right now, Tariq is cooking.
Well, I'm sure they used a lot of deception and,
Okay, so is deception good? Like, like this guy is caping and cheerleading for white supremacy, but it's like, yo, is deception good? So why would you bring up people who use deception to get ahead? Like this argument falls on his own head.
I understand how they get down, but still,
Also, when they did try to found colonies over here by themselves, because
specifically the Spanish, the English, and the French, they failed miserably and embarrassingly. Maybe I'm gonna do a live on how the French, the Spanish, and the English failed miserably. Like they embarrassed white supremacy the way they failed trying to colonize America. Okay.
The white supremacists did come over here and try to found white colonies over here, European colonies, without slave labor. Well, some with the slave labor, some without. All of them failed before 1619. All of them failed. They couldn't do it. Why couldn't they do it on their own?
Exactly, Ricardo.
I hear you. Yeah.
I'm telling you,
and that's what makes this guy a tether. It's like, dude, like have a legitimate black argument for why you're against FBA, but do not borrow a white supremacist argument. Like this guy is like he's arguing for white supremacists or people who, campaign or hold up white supremacy. This is embarrassing. But this is why we got to call you a name like a tether or a coon, because we got to divide you from us. Yes, division is math. You guys want to divide. Yes, division is math. You guys want to claim you're mathematical. Well, we add, we subtract, we multiply, and we divide. Yes, and we got fractions and decimals as well.
We were this shit where we were just the laborers. Have you visited some of these plantations?
I haven't. I'm stuck in SoCal.
So Pinky Wells said this. She said most Europeans didn't have. She said most Europeans didn't leave Europe. They were dumped in America by their countrymen who deemed them lazy, worthless. And that's 100. What Pinky said. Listen, family, you got to read the chat. The chat be knowing a lot of stuff. Okay, so she's correct. So countrymen want to expose their poor class, their lazy class, right? And America is skipping over foundational Black Americans for anything white because they believe what's white is right. So they're like, hey man, give us your worst and we'll make something out of them. You dig? So what she's saying is 100% correct. Germany, like who wants to get rid of their best? You don't do that because that's called a brain drain. And you guys know your boy Unbiased Ron know about the brain drain, brain gain, and brain waste. You dig? I've been going there for a little minute here. But no country will obviously get rid of their brains, because that's like country suicide. So they get rid of their worst. We're the only dumb country to keep our worst, except when Donald Trump became president. We're now shipping off our worst, which is the illegals. You dig? It's a fact. Anyway, let's go.
I'm from California.
Louisiana, go down to South Carolina. Go. I was at a plantation in Louisiana. They will proudly tell you that the architect house, the big house, was a black slave. We were building the houses. We were building the bridges. Hawk King was another foundational Black American who was enslaved, who they would get to build many of the bridges and railroads, and he was an architect for state houses around the country in the South. We had Benjamin Banneker's foundational Black American who helped design Washington, D.C. You understand? We were
right.
I got to do a video on Benjamin.
We were the architects
Banneker.
and everything, sir.
I'm not the most well versed in.
I understand that. I mean, I have family. My grandma from Shreveport, Louisiana. My grandfather's from Nacogdoches, Texas. So my lineage goes back. But I just haven't been visiting out there to really explore all that stuff in person. And it seems like I need to dig deeper because it's a lot of stuff I'm not into. But
by the way, it's all you.
I appreciate it.
They were?
Thank you. I appreciate you for putting me up on a little game, giving me a little bit more details so I can know, what I need to know when I talk about this type of stuff.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. Land my plane there.
Where's all your family from, by the way?
My family?
Yeah.
My mom, we've been out in Cali since the 50s, so at least. So she's from Compton, California. My grandfather and her side is, like I said, from Nacogdoches, Texas. My grandma from Louisiana, Shreveport. On my dad's side, I wasn't raised with him, but I know I have folks from Oklahoma and I think Louisiana too. So I got my records and everything. We go way back.
This is a tether
like
/ Pan-Africanist
papers and all
position to take.
So I'm ready for reparations, man. We'll get them.
Nah. Wait, what you talking, bro? You don't even qualify.
I'm legit, man.
All right.
You.
But yeah, let's come on now.
You pass the
know your
reparations
history.
on to me.
That's why it's important to know your history, family. No. We're foundational Black Americans, not just foundational Americans.
Nah.
Yeah, people will try to co-opt that. They can try to remix that. No, when you say foundational Black American, no, you're being very, very specific.
Right.
You understand? Yeah, Blackness,
I understand.
the Black identity is legally and historically recognized throughout history. Blackness, that's been used to determine access, exclusion, exploitation, from slavery, the 3/5 clause, Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration. They were doing that to Black people.
Chad.
They used the word Black, and we're gonna let them know. Okay, yes, we're still Black, and you still owe us. I ain't about to make this shit vague. No. We're owed as Black folks, as foundational Black Americans. We're gonna use the legal and social language used against us to get compensation, which includes Black.
Right.
Yeah, we're removing Black, that disconnects foundational Black Americans from our unique cultural contributions.
But we're not removing Black and adding African.
Black.
That's not gonna happen.
Foundational Black Americans, jazz. Foundational Black Americans, soul food. Foundational Black Americans, hoodoo. Foundational Black Americans, civil rights movement. Foundational Black Americans. We're owning that. You understand? It's not just foundational, it's foundational Black American.
Right.
See, we just say foundational American, that ignores the cultural, spiritual, and artistic genius that rose up out of Blackness. That's the thing that makes the shit so great. We did that when Blackness was being oppressed, and we still rose up and created all of these great things as Black people, as an oppressed group. That's what makes us goddamn superheroes to a damn certain degree. The Blackness, that's the thing. That's the key ingredient in the sauce. That's the key ingredient. That's what makes us so unique and so remarkable. They tried their best to denigrate the Blackness, suppress the Blackness, subjugate the Blackness, spiritually break the Blackness, and they did not break the Blackness, ladies and gentlemen. We said in the 60s, we're Black and we're proud. Now what? That was a declaration of success and victory. We're still here as the Black people you tried to denigrate. We're reminding you of that Blackness that made this country what it is. We ain't giving that up. We embrace it. Now other people try to embrace it. I'm Black too, my nigga. We're all Black. No, well, yeah. No, because y'all would go out of your way to say you weren't. I'm not Black, nigga. I'm Jamaican. Remember back in the 90s? I got hella
videos of them saying that.
We would hear that all the time. They act like they weren't saying that. I used to hear that.
Maybe go to the archive.
Back in the club days, I would always hear these Caribbean and African women, Black as hell. Oh, I'm not Black, I'm Ethiopian. Oh, I'm not Black, I'm Caribbean. Oh, I'm not Black, I'm Trinidadian. They would always say that. They wore that shit as a badge of honor. Now they try to flip it. Oh, well, we're all these same people. Oh, okay. But the thing is, family, Black, that's the power word that puts the system on notice. See, we're not going to remove Black. See, that's a strategic attempt to kind of neutralize demands. You know, when we start claiming that Blackness, people say, "Oh, that's divisive." Yeah, they don't say that when Irish Americans and Native American is used. See, Black makes people uncomfortable. And that's a good thing, because it reminds you, it forces America to confront its sins. Yeah, it's when you come in with that Black, you yelling Black. No, everybody has, because you know what you did. It's like, you know what you did last summer. No, I'm gonna remind you. You're
No,
not gonna get
that's
to
my
forget.
thing
I
right
ain't taking
there.
the black
Yo,
out of
that's
shit.
crazy.
You're gonna get reminded every day of what
That's
you
my
did
catchphrase.
and
I know
what
what you
needs
did
to be
last
done
Sunday.
to give compensatory justice. That's why it has to be remain. Foundation of Black America is not just a label. It's a statement of truth, a statement of ownership, and a statement of power. Ladies and gentlemen. Miss Princess Naya. Hop on, ma'am.
Hi.
All right, so she about to do some more other SHIT. Let me just try to find this other thing that Tariq did real quick because it wasn't part of the podcast show, but like I got a great memory, and I see. Let me add this thing I watched earlier from another brother's channel. He captured something Tariq said that was great. Same topic. Let me just find it. I'm in my history right now looking for it. And my next live I'm gonna do right after this one will be addressing the birthright citizenship. So yeah, might want to be around for that one because I'm gonna cook on that one, birthright citizenship. I'm gonna go really deep on that one. All right, shit. All right, okay. So I can't. All right. So let me just end this one right here. Okay, so let me go into this is a sovereign citizens. I'm right here. Like the circle with the no picture, no profile picture. That's me. I'm Bias Ron. So I was on a podcast defending FBA ideology, well, our stance, our position, our talking points. And then some 79 elder came on here just rambling, some plebiscite bullshit. So check this out.
Racism. Okay, you got it. Go ahead.
Now, the first thing, and I'm pretty sure my brother Mandingo, you understand this.
Now, this dude, he sounds exactly like this Nation of Islam member, preacher. And like now he's Baba some bullshit, Pan-African name. They call him Baba some bullshit. But he sounds exactly like a nation of, well, he wasn't under Farrakhan. When I say Nation of Islam, I mean like a sect, not under Farrakhan. He was trying to be greater than Farrakhan. He's doing his own little thing. And this sounds like a minister who was propagating the Nation of Islam about 10 years ago. And I guess that didn't work out. So now he's on some more science sovereignty bullshit. But I believe because he's older like the guy. He's going to say he's 79 years old. All right. And let me just say this, family. If you are 79, I don't give a damn if you're Farrakhan. If you are 79 years old, the first thing you should do is sit the fuck down. You can't relate to nobody other than other 79-year-olds and 80-year-olds and 90-year-olds. Dude, you are unrelatable, you're out of touch, and you're outdated. Nothing about you can resonate with anybody younger than 50 years old. Shit, maybe even 60. Yeah, so anybody at that age needs to sit the fuck down. You're not Baba nothing. Okay. You're an elder senior citizen who needs to sit down and learn where the wave is now, where the trend is now. All right. I don't give a damn. I get that old. Sit me the fuck down. So we're not listening to nobody over like 60, really. You dig? Like you had your chance, it's over. Because you're out of touch with the public, with the masses. So listen to this man at 79 years old acting like he is some Baba, some fucking leader. Listen to this.
We are fishing in a vacant house because unless you understand the 1871 Constitution, we're chasing wolf cookies.
So now this sister up top, she was rocking with me. Her name Queen. I want to invite her to the show. So Queen, if you're listening, I gotta invite you to the show. She was 2 feet down on FBA business, and she was standing on some solid ground. But she's being attacked against everybody on the show besides myself. Me and her were like 2v1, 2, 3, 4. So we were like 2v4, right? So when his brother called in and checked, they start calling him Baba Elder. I checked out. I said, I'm still right here. But I knew I was out. Like, there ain't nobody my Baba, nobody my Elder. You dig? I'm good. So I knew I was like, I was already going to be gone. So right now I was typing in chat. I let Queen know. Queen pull up, research my channel. I gave her the link, pull up. Like, let's get down and dirty on this shit. Listen to this fool.
How many of y'all have any of y'all read the 18? Unless you understand the 1871 Constitution, we're chasing wolf cookies. How many of y'all have any of y'all read the 1871?
Well, he didn't. I'll tell you that right there.
I haven't.
Anybody
No,
else?
I can look it up.
What is it first? I might have heard about it. What is it?
It's called the 1871 Constitution, when the United States Corporation took on a charter, and we're now owned by Britain.
Okay.
Monica, you can pull that up. See, we are talking about America. There is no America what it's doing. All this is gaslighting BS, because the Federalist Organization, which Trump is a member of, the guy name is Stephen Miller, was one part. Leonard Leo with the Federalist Society. So the 1871, and this is when the United States took on a charter with Britain. We're back to where we was in the 1700s. Britain owned this. America, this company you call American, exists no more. This is a corporation, and it's owned by foreign investments. So we're all about take this and they'll, if you notice, look at the flag. The American flag has no fringe.
So let's address that. The American flag has no fringe. All right. So these claims made by Moorish Science Temple members or sovereign citizen groups regarding the 1871 Constitution, you're still listening to Plebiscite Babble. What he just said was some Plebiscite Babble bullshit. So the U.S. being a corporation and flags with fringes are conspiracy theories and have no legal basis in constitutional law. This is straight bullshit from white people. All right. This is a white man's claim way before black people hopped on the bandwagon. All right. U.S. history or governance here. So anyway, let's do it. So what actually happened in 1871? Congress passed the District of Columbia Organic Act of 1871, not a new constitutional, fool. This is why 79-year-olds need to sit the fuck down. I'm not listening to nobody who's 79 years old, nowhere near that age. Sit your ass down, listen to me. Right? Y'all niggas outdated, out of touch, and just unreachable, unrelatable. So this act, 1871, this act created a municipal government for Washington, D.C., allowing the federal government to govern the district as a city. It did not change the U.S. government into a corporation owned by Britain, you stupid fool. That's why we don't listen to you guys. Okay, here's the facts. This law only applied to Washington, D.C. It did not alter the Constitution and did not turn the U.S. into a private corporation. It only applied to Washington, D.C. Stop listening to white folks. Okay? So, is the U.S. a corporation owned by Britain? That's what he just said. No. The U.S. federal government is a sovereignty entity, not a private company or corporation. The claim that the U.S. was sold to British bankers or the crown is based on misreadings of legal documents and misunderstanding of international debt and law. There is no legal document or treaty showing that Britain owns the U.S. So you guys got to provide that, and you won. You can't. All right. So now he said the fringe. All right. So the fringe flag myth. Why do some flags have fringes? Okay, the gold fringe is purely decorative, used on flags in military ceremonies, federal buildings, and courts. Let me say it again. Listen to me again. The gold fringe is purely decorative, used on flags in military ceremonies, federal buildings, and courts. It has no legal meaning and does not symbolize martial law or corporate rule. The Supreme Court and lower courts have confirmed that fringe has no legal significance and does not change the nature of the flag or jurisdiction. All right, so let the old guy go more. You're right, the out of date senior citizen elder go more. Baba, where the fuck you want to call himself? When you say Baba, to me that just means senior citizen needs to sit down. Okay, if you call anybody Baba, to me that translates as senior citizen need to sit the fuck down. Right, the niggas losing their marbles.
but the United States flag got fringes on it. That's the reason? Because they are federalists and we are the lost old so-called America. It don't exist anymore. If you go in details on this 18th.
I have a question for you. I got a question for you, and thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but sometimes
this is Queen.
That's all right. That's all right, baby.
This is a good sister right here.
Like you all.
I need to get her on this platform.
I definitely appreciate that, but I know you say that we're not no United States, and we're a corporation, and we're owned by Britain, and this, that, and other. So, can I ask you, when you pass on, what country is going to be on the paperwork? You think it's going to say Africa or United States, and then the state that you're from? So I'm saying, I wanted to know, like, so we can call it the corporation because because. So why do we care whether we call it a state or a corporation? But we know we're
I'm not listening to nobody over.
We're not in Africa. We know that we're not.
I'm sorry,
Cuba. We know that we're not in
bro.
Canada. So why can't we identify what we know to be today? Why can't we identify in that? Why do we always have to go? Why do us as Black people always have to go so far back, but the white man don't?
Right.
Even
we got to always go back to ancient Africa. The white man could deal right now in America.
Okay, let's say that.
The standard y'all give us is like stupid and unfair.
Or tell everybody you from the corporation.
But right. So what she's saying is, if we're from Britain or we're the corporation, then why not just say, hey, man, we're Britons, we're British people, or we're corporations? Why say fucking Moorish or sovereign citizen?
Still the United States. You define it as what do you define the United States as?
All right, so let Baba answer the question.
You see, so now that sister that called that just said that I cooked her earlier. You did, because first of all, Queen asked her a question, and I asked, and I doubled down like, yo, you never answered Queen's question. So that sister, now she's a good woman in heart. But information-wise, she's off. She's horrible. She's following pseudoscience. It's more science bullshit that's concocted from white supremacists. That's a fact. And y'all call in and challenge me. I'm a cookie. So be careful. So, but he's Baba.
Let me explain something to you.
All right, so let Baba answer the question.
Okay, again, when your name is Baba, like Professor Small, they call him Baba. You see, he's an old fool. So when you're called Baba, that for me, that's a secret code for you to just sit down and shut up and enjoy the last 10 years of your life. You dig? And let us cook.
I am.
Baby, let me explain something to you.
I know.
Okay. Do you have a birth certificate?
I do.
Do you have a birth certificate?
Yes.
And do you have a Social Security card?
All right. So now he's going to the birth certificate, Social Security card. But before you do that, let me just tackle the two constitutions myth. So there's only one U.S. Constitution. Don't believe people like Baba or some white pseudoscience fool. The 14th Amendment in 1868 and later court rulings clarified citizenship and due process, but did not replace or duplicate the Constitution. Claims of a second Constitution in 1871 are a distortion of historical facts. Okay, so sovereign citizen and Moorish claims in court. These theories, all right, are routinely rejected in court. They don't stand for shit. They go nowhere with this bullshit in court. Judges across the country have labeled such arguments as frivolous, nonsensical, and without merit. Sovereign citizens who claim they are not subject to U.S. law based on these arguments have been fined, jailed, or dismissed in court. So they've been losing. Let's do the L dance. You dig? I'm doing the L dance right now. Like they take L's in court. They never win. All right. So the 1871 Act did not make the U.S. a corporation. There is no second constitution. Britain does not own America, and flag fringes don't equal martial law. These myths are used to confuse, not liberate. So do not let these conspiracy theories erase what we know as regular, sensible history and researchable, Googleable, ChatGPTable in America. All right. So with that, I'm gonna let him go cook on this Social Security card, driving our license, you're traveling bullshit right now. Hold on.
What do you define the United States as?
All right, so let Baba answer the question.
I am.
Baby, let me explain something to you.
I know.
Okay. Do you have a birth certificate?
Oh shit.
I do.
Do you have a birth certificate?
Now don't forget, before they went to this bullshit right here, this bullshit argument, the topic was about immigration. At least when I called in, it was about, do you agree with the ICE raids or you don't? This dude is doing this whole Moorish package bullshit. Again, he's 79 years old. That's all he knows, right? He don't know about ICE raids and whatever's going on today. He's stuck in 1970. Listen to this fool. Listen to this old fool they call Baba.
Yes.
And do you have a Social Security card?
I do.
Okay. So we're all a cattle trade in this country. Wait a minute. And when you pass on, that Social Security card and that certificate pays laws of London X amount of money because you already have been a commodity and you've been used as collateral. Where you bury that don't matter. What you call it don't matter. Can I finish, please? Don't matter. That's like, that's we're all is in this situation, and if you carry a driver's license, Social Security card, a birth certificate, that means you, whatever certificate that state's in, you're part of that, and you're part of the 12 federal banks that controls that. I'm pretty sure you all know that because I know y'all are highly intelligent. I know y'all studied all this. So what I'm saying,
don't fall
all
for that.
regurgitating. It doesn't matter. All we know that Britain has a charter with this country. That's where everything keep going back. Where we'll bury, whether you bury it at sea, or you get burnt in an avalanche, or go down in a volcano, or get blown away in a hurricane, where you wind up at. We shouldn't be looking at that. What we're trying to find out, and we've been going this for years, ever since the 50s and 60s, we've been trying to find an identity that we can look up to and get respect for. Every name we want, somebody else gave it to us. Name me one name that we named ourselves. Now you can unmute and I'll listen.
Dan, you want to take?
All right, so let me just fast forward to his other little bullshit around right. I wrote it down around right here.
We are the only citizens in this land, according to the 17.
Now remember, he's Baba, right? He's the elder. He's the most wise. But wait until he say some shit they don't like. Wait until he say some shit they don't like. No longer, no longer he's the all wise Baba. Now he on the same level as Unbiased Ron and everybody in the chat, right? Yeah, he's Baba the all wise until he say some shit they disagree with. Watch this shit. Well, he ain't gonna say it right now, but when I play him, I'm gonna play him right now. He gonna say some dumb shit, right? But he gonna say it after this. Once right now they right, yeah, Baba, you all wise. That's right, that's right. Wait till you say some shit. They gonna flip on Baba. You can't trust these Pan-Africanists at all. These Afrocentric at all, man. Just get away from them.
Organization Act, according to Black's Law Dictionary, page 792.
Okay, so this is what they do. They misrepresent the Black Law Dictionary, and like they always represent the outdated one. There's a reason why there's a 4th and 5th edition. Like when there's another edition, that means another edition reigns supreme on the older editions. So you can't tell me about the 1st edition when there's a 9th edition. We need to look at the 9th edition because the reason why people make editions is like called editing because new information trumps the old shit. So they make a new edition of the same thing with the King James Revised Edition Bible. They make a better edition Bible to try to mirror the Greek, or the Hebrew.
Act, according to Black's Law Dictionary, page 792. Read it. What is a free white person? With a free white person, they gotta be up one enslaved.
Okay, so now this is the rhetoric that a lot of more science temple people say. They say you're not black, you're not Foundation Black American, you're not Adolf, you're not American freedman. You are a freed white man. And he's telling you in page 792, the 4th edition of the Black's Law Dictionary, that a free white man is an enslaved person. So a free white man ain't a white man. is actually a foundation of Black American. Listen to this bullshit again. Listen one more time.
Act, according to Black's law, everybody came ourselves, took on the responsibility of creating a society, then protect it. Marcus Garvey did a great thing. He did not.
Now, you know, if you say Marcus Garvey did a great thing, you already know you can't fuck with me. Marcus Garvey's a scammer. He didn't do shit great. Dude's a complete loser and he didn't need to be, you dig? Like, he was a waste of space, waste of oxygen, waste of life coming into this world. The dude was a complete fraud scammer who was miserable he failed in Jamaica. He came over here, he failed. He went back to Jamaica, he failed. He went to London, failed. He's a 4-time failed loser. So don't talk to me about somebody who failed 4 times and died miserably. You dig? This is the wrong guy to reference. But if you reference him, I already know you're not my level.
43,000 years ago. We are the oldest, and we should be the parent. But what we've done, we've allowed somebody else come in and tell us who we are and not who we are. They named us. We have never named ourselves or took on the responsibility of creating a society, then protect it. Marcus Garvey did a great thing. He did not protect his back. Everybody came. We had white flags chasing white folks because we didn't want to be.
Hey, get out of here. This fucking beat. Hey, yo, hey, Pan-Nigerian, let me ask you a quick question. Since we're on this, do you believe Marcus Garvey did a great thing? Do you agree with the elder Baba? Do you agree that Marcus Garvey did a great thing, Pan-Nigerian? Like, let's get that out the way right now, because I never asked you that. Let's find out. Did Marcus Garvey do a great thing, Pan-Nigerian? Yes or no? Because I would love to know what you know about Marcus Garvey. Because the little bit, I didn't research a lot about him, but a little bit I heard about him, he was a scammer.
Be second-class citizens. We are the only citizens in this land. According to the 7.
Okay, so Claire 64 says we FBA might identify differently. We are not a monolith. However, yeah. So let me give Claire a wrench. I don't know why Claire ain't got a wrench. This must be Claire's first time here, because Claire should already have a wrench. Because we're not a monolith, and we're gonna have different results on research, and that's okay. Like, just because another FBA person looks at life different from me, like, that's okay. Like, that don't bother me. That person is not an op. That FBA man or woman is not an op. That FBA man and woman deserve respect. We're not a monolith, so I expect people to have different realities, different perspectives on life. And okay, you still my family, you still from my lineage, like, we still on code. Life moves on. We only got a couple ops. That's white supremacists, that's coons, and that's tethers. That's it.
1700 Nationalization Act, according to Black's Law Dictionary, page 792. Read it. What is a free white person? With a free white person, they gotta be born enslaved.
Pan-Nigerian, why don't you call in? Because you kind of like all over the place. I asked you about Marcus Garvey exclusively, and like, you're talking about his information is hard to come by. Marcus Garvey information is very much public. What are we talking about, bro? Like, John Henry Clark, a lot of scholars like talks about Marcus Garvey all the time. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? That didn't make any sense. Here's the number. Because I got to ask you about that. Like, what do you mean it's hard to come by? His information is very much documented. It's public. I mean, that's stupid.
Look him up, and they give you a whole list. At the bottom of this, it says,
okay, so what do you say?
According to the 1700 Nationalization Act, according to Black's Law Dictionary, page 792.
Okay, so he said, according to the 1700 Naturalization Act, he said, according to the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 792. What about it?
Read it. What is a free white person? With a free white person, they gotta be born enslaved.
Okay, so we're gonna look over that. If a free white person is one enslaved.
Look him up, and they give you a whole list. At the bottom of this, it says, Caucasians cannot be citizens of the United States.
Hey, Pan-Nigerian, just call in, bro. Just call in. Like, just stop all this conspiracy talk. They putting extra. Just call in. Like, let's just talk about Marcus Garvey alone. Nobody else, nothing else. Just Marcus Garvey. Call in, bro. I want to know what you know.
So they can do what they want to do. What's Black's Law Dictionary that they go by? A Caucasian Aryan race cannot be a citizen of the United States.
Watcher.
Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 792.
Okay, so he just said white people cannot be citizens of the United States. That's what the elder Baba said.
Teach.
Wait, what was that?
792.
Come on, teach.
Okay, so the same guy said, come on, teach. He challenged me earlier on his live. And I was like, bro, you do know you can just pull up. Like, we ain't got to talk on it over here where Elder Baba could talk for hours before we get a word in. It's like, dude, we can have a regular dialogue. Like, just pull up. Of course, he's not going to do that.
And if we can't be citizens, sure as hell can't dictate who's a citizen.
Percy.
So the thing about it, we got to create our own conscious group like we got in our own.
So he just said we got to create our own constitution. Yo, what earth is dude living on? This dude said we got to create our own. Yo, we can't even. Dude, we are dominated by systemic racism. And he's telling us we got to create our own constitution. We got to figure out how to expose completely and get rid of systemic racism. But he's telling us we got to create our own constitution. Like, this is the delusion that a lot of elders, babas, are experiencing. You dig?
On military mind, because the so-called Jews got the ADL, anti-defamation.
Hey, yo, the Watchers is cooking. Hey, Pan-Nigerian, yo, grow some courage. Listen to what the Watcher is saying. He's trying to educate you, and call in and just read what the Watcher is saying. Like, he's helping you out, bro.
They got lawyers and things that goes in and fight and lobby for their rights. Who's lobbying for us other than some cracker?
Now that part, he's right. Okay, so he's mixing truth with falsehoods. I hate when they do that, because he started off lying and revising history, but now he's like getting to some stuff that we agree with. Yeah, nobody lobby for us that's actually black, other than what happened recently with ADOS and things like that. But before then, yeah, ain't nobody lobby for us in our best interest.
Who's the minority leader in the thing? We got other folks fight for us. As Barry Shango said, don't let nobody do what you need to do for yourself.
Hey, Pan-Nigerian, call. I gave you the phone number, dude. Call in. So now, what Baba's saying right now, he's not wrong. Like, he's actually cooking. You dig? Like I said, just because you're wrong on something, it doesn't mean you're wrong on everything. All right, so now let's fast forward a little bit to where he talks about, where he said some things that agree with us, FBA's, ADOS, American freedmen, but those people who was dick riding them felt like, this dude, watch this.
Been dividing on this stuff, asking the answer. Though Ephod claimed to have the knowledge, we ain't coming together and dividing on this stuff, asking the ancestors what we need to do to resolve this problem. We're still rehearsing and regurgitating yesterday, keep doing the same thing the same way, and we're getting the same results. That's insanity. When we're gonna sit down and come together, put all this other stuff aside? Africa don't need us, and we don't need Africa.
Uh-oh. He said Africa doesn't need us, we don't need Africa. Listen, all right, so all those big riders who was on his coattail, listen to what they say now.
I'm gonna piss somebody off. Insanity. When we're gonna sit down and come together, put all this other stuff aside? Africa don't need us, and we don't need Africa. I'm gonna piss somebody off. I'm gonna say it again. We don't need Africa, and Africa don't need us. We need to come together. You can't help nobody. You can't help yourself.
You heard him? We don't need Africa. Africa don't need us. So he's talking. That's the FBA talking for you, right? Now listen to like the dick riders who was riding with him. Listen to their outrage.
I object to that, though.
Well, okay, then.
Yeah. Okay, so now Baba's no longer Baba. Yeah, they took his Baba title so fast. Once he said we don't need Africa, Africa don't need us. He said, I object to that. So all of a sudden he ain't Baba. So all of a sudden he don't deserve the utmost respect, and shut up and let him just rant and ramble and plebiscite babble. All of a sudden you can I object to what Baba has to say. All right, hold on. Let me change the name real fast so your phone number don't show up. Okay. It is Pan-Nigerian?
Yeah, what up, bro?
All right. You sound kind of light. So look, just okay. So just allow me just to play this last clip, all right, where he said we don't need Africa and Africa to lead us, and then we can chop it up.
And tell me, and Africa don't need us. Africa don't need us, and we don't need Africa. I'm gonna piss somebody off. I'm gonna say it again. We don't need Africa, and Africa don't need us. We need to come together. You can't help nobody. You can't help yourself.
I object to that, though.
Well, okay, then tell me this, and please ask me, because I've been following some things. When we go, you say, well, we do need it. Let's see, what do we need from there?
Okay. All right, wait. All right, so I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna back up. All right. So let me just first ask you, do you agree with Baba when he said Africa don't need us, we don't need Africa?
It's not really that simple, but it's kind of complicated, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, for instance, I'll give you a quick little example, right? Like Shell gas. You know Shell gas, right?
Yes,
gas I do. Station Shell.
Yes.
Now they get a lot of gas out of Africa. You know what I'm saying? They
Nigeria.
Get a lot of gas
Nigeria.
Yeah.
No, not Africa, Nigeria. But go ahead, yeah, because I know a lot about how they started off. But go ahead.
But you know what I'm saying, though. So to say, you know what I mean, it's you know what I mean, it's back and forth. So I mean, we can use them and they can use us, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? If
I kind of follow you on that one. All right, so on that one, I kind of get where you're going. With that, like you talking about resources. You resources. I think he was speaking. Yeah. Okay, so you're right about that. You're right about people do need Africa's resources, but I don't think that's what he was speaking about. I think he was talking about the people of Africa. Like, I think, but resources, yes, you're right. But he was speaking more so of people in Africa. Like we don't really need to wait for people of Africa to wake up and get on board. Like we can do shit. And just like Africa don't need the Africa, and he said Africa need us, meaning that Africa don't gotta wait until we wake up, to get on board. Africa could do themselves, do what they gotta do. Yeah, but you're right as far as resources. Yeah, the world relies on Africa. Yeah, but I don't think that's what he meant. But as far as Marcus Garvey, okay. So now you said some things are added, but what do you believe that he did, that was productive? That let's go with that. What do you believe he did that was productive in America?
So
and I'll wait till you finish, and then I will respond once you're totally done. Go ahead.
My understanding is that he took the Pan-African thing and he saw he had a personal vision about it to where, he wanted to, I guess, that's why I say I don't know. I didn't look into it, as much as other people, but I guess he thought bringing everybody together and moving back over there and having a country, he had some type of, I don't know. I mean, to me, it sounded like a fantasy, but he put things in action. He started a group, a network in America, and he had things going to get to that point. Some people said he was scamming. The government said he was scamming. I even heard some black people from back in the day said that, they wasn't feeling how he was doing things. Like I said, I don't know. I would have took a different approach. You know what I mean? When I say Pan-Africanism, to me, it ain't about moving back everybody going to Africa. You know what I'm saying? But that's how he went about it, and his followers felt like that. So some people think that's a good thing. I think, if I find any good thing in that whole situation, is that he had a network, he had a strong network of Black Americans. That's good, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know what he did with the network. I don't know if it fell apart.
But that might be bad, though. That might be.
But I mean, you need a network to function, though, bro. You got to have a network to function. You know what I'm saying? To properly function. So yeah, but I mean, at least
don't you believe it gotta be? But don't you? Well, yeah. But don't you believe that a lot of people have networks, but if they're built on false premises, right? If they're built on a scamming premises, then there's no good out of it. Like once you provide a life, for example, Like there's many black people in this country that have lied and scammed, right? It could be FBA, non-FBA, doesn't matter. There's many black people in this country after Garvey who has completely lied and led black people astray and scammed them or got them locked up. You know, you could look at so many people, so many names to throw out there, but we know that's a reality. Okay, so now Marcus Garvey. So now here's the thing about Marcus Garvey. You said Marcus Garvey. This is what you just said just now. You said Marcus Garvey had an ideology where he was gathering everybody, but he didn't gather everybody. He only gathered FBAs. He didn't gather Jamaicans. He didn't gather Haitians. He didn't gather Nigerians, Ethiopians, or Ghanaians. He didn't gather nobody but FBAs. So he did not gather everybody, brother. He only gathered FBAs. The Jamaicans said, get out of our face. You're a scammer. Get out of here. We ain't rocking with you. That's what they did with him. He fled over here. He definitely fled. He fled over here. We don't even know how he got here. Like nobody even know how he got here. It wasn't Ellis Island. It wasn't technically illegal either. Like the way he got here is a mystery, brother. That's the craziest thing ever. Like there's no documentation of how he got here. But every Jamaican at that time, they got here through Ellis Island, or they got to Florida, you know, where it was like doing picking like fruits and stuff. So, but they were documented, like they were not illegals. Like even the Jamaicans who built the Panama Canal, they were documented. They were not illegal. You dig? Everything was documented. When it comes to Marcus Garvey, it's a mystery. Nobody knows how he got here. So we don't know if he's legal or illegal. We don't know. But all we know is that he didn't gather everybody. He came over here and he gathered FBAs in the North who was escaping heavy, you know, Jim Crow persecution from the South. So what he did was, brother, he played on their experiences, right? He said, hey, man, the white man don't want you here. So let's go back to Africa. And, you know, as a result, he got a lot of FBAs to join that movement. But brother, and that's okay. I'm not saying, hey, they want to leave, go ahead and leave. Right. That's not good or bad. You know, that's a personal decision. But what I'm going to ask you is this. When he wanted to go back to Africa, do you know what place in Africa he wanted to go to?
Before I answer that, I had a question for you about what you were just saying.
Sure.
Now, do you know, I'm not sure of this, so I'm asking you, do you know that there wasn't West Indian people that was down with him? And West Indian Americans and West Indians on the island that supported him? Is that a fact that we all know? Or I know that his focus was on Black Americans because I would say in America, you could do it. You know, in Jamaica, if he would have tried that in Jamaica, they would have did him dirty. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wait. Say that one more time. Wait. Say that one more time.
If he would have tried that in Jamaica, they would have did more than just lock him up. They would have knocked him off right in the street in front of everybody. In America,
no. It wouldn't have got that far. But the answer to your question is he would have never got as far as he did in America and Jamaica. He tried. The Jamaican public said, "Get out of here! You're a scammer. Stop talking to us." They dismissed him right away. So he didn't have a chance at all to expand in Jamaica. That was not even a consideration, bro. That was not even an idea. Like that was shut down immediately.
But reason why I have a difficulty believing that because he's not the only Pan-African West Indian. Like they got a history of Pan-Africanism and Black nationalism and stuff like that.
Yeah. But
it got to be something else other than the people.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Your confusion is this. So like you said, you said you don't know a lot. Okay, so if you don't know a lot, that's how you got to like hold yourself too. But you can't know.
What do I know? I know what I know though, bro.
I of course. But what I'm saying is this: if you don't know a lot, you only know what you know. But then you don't know what you don't. Hold on. But then you don't know what you don't know, because what you don't know is that Marcus Garvey version of Pan-Africanism was new. Did you know that?
No, I did. Know that.
Okay, so the first Pan-Africanist wasn't Marcus Garvey. The first Pan-Africanists were free. Okay, so the first Pan-Africans were who then? Since you know that, who were they?
The first Pan-Africans. I mean, you had an official Congress and all that. You know what I'm saying? And I forget what. I think that was some West Indian cats.
No.
That got with some brothers from up here.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yo, if I'm wrong, put me on, because I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, yo, first of all, Juan, real quick. Let me say this real quick. Yo, I'm not up here to argue with you, bro.
No, of course. You're my brother.
Like we, you know what I'm saying? This is the 4th of July, man. We just kicking it. If I don't know, put me on. You know what I'm saying? You, for some reason, you know everything already, so I can't put you on enough. So
you gonna pet the dog, okay? I ain't hear what you said last.
I was just saying, man, you know what? I'm open, man. If I don't know something, put me on.
All right,
you know
okay, so cool.
You know what I mean?
All right, so let me put you on. Bro, ain't no West Indian nothing. Okay, so first of all, have you ever heard of the West Indians Federation?
Nah.
Okay, right. So the West Indians tried West Indianism, you dig? And it flopped and it fell. I'm talking about the West Indians. We're talking about Trinidad, Tobago, Jamaica, all the small little islands over there. They tried to come together. It flopped. It failed. Okay, they didn't trust. It flopped in like 3 years, but they didn't trust each other, man. So it went nowhere. Okay, now, so now let me back. And that was like right before. That was like 1960s. That was right before Jamaica's and Trinidad, Tobago's independence. Right before. Once it flopped, that's when Jamaica filed for independence and so did Trinidad. If you don't know that. But the West Indians was an effort to unite the islands to be one, like the United States, and it flopped because they didn't trust each other. That's just it. They had no trust. It was not on code. But let me bring you back to the first Pan-Africanists. The first Pan-Africanists, my brother, they were free blacks. You got Alexander Cromwell, and you know names. You got Paul Cuff, and you got Martin Delaney Robinson. They go back to the 1830s, my boy, to 1850s. Yep. Okay, so these were the first Pan-Africanists, and they were only Pan-Africanists because they didn't get citizenship in America. And what comes with citizenship, so I don't got to say rights. Because if you don't have citizenship, you don't have rights. Okay, so this is not just for the chat too. Chat, I don't got to say rights. All I got to say, if you don't have American citizenship, of course you don't have American rights. And that's why the Dred Scott case fell. Dred Scott didn't have American citizenship and no free black either. Martin Delaney Robinson, Paul Cuff, or Alexander Cromwell, anybody you can name, they had no citizenship, and neither did Frederick Douglass until 1968. Okay, I mean 1868. Okay. But anyway, those were the first Pan-African, brother, Pan-Nigerian, and they were only Pan-Africans because they didn't have citizenship. Even though they were free, they had no rights that a white man was bound to respect, and that made them feel unsafe. That made them feel unprotected. So they wanted to go to Africa just on that. It's not that they thought the grass was greener. They felt like Africa was safer, but they didn't know. They didn't know, obviously, over here. There's no Wi-Fi. There's no Google, ChatGPT. They didn't know Africa was being colonized, you dig, by the French, the Spanish, and the Germans, and whoever else. They didn't know that. They didn't know the Berlin Conference took place. So they're leaving America to go to Sierra Leone and other places in Africa just to find out it's ruled by white people. So when 1863 popped off, and Abraham Lincoln made it legal for black people in period, Negroes, color, what you want to call them, to fight in the Civil War. All those folks that fled to Africa, bro, for safety, because the grass was greener, they all came back to fight for citizenship in America. I'd be the last one of them. All right, so that's why when we do the history of Pan-Africanism was only a thought because they did not have protection, they didn't have legal rights, and they were just left out to dry. But once they realized they can fight for their citizenship in America, they came back. They said, F Africa, they came back and they died. Even Martin Delaney Robinson, who was a devout Pan-Africanist, he died an American citizen. All of them niggas came back and died American citizens. So what Marcus Garvey did was something new. Now, are you familiar with the ACS, the American Colonization Society?
Yeah.
Okay, so they were the ones that set up the colony in Liberia to extract black people to Liberia. Okay, so when Marcus Garvey came damn near like 100 years later, he met with the KKK. Did you know that? That's a fact. That's not what folks added. Did you know that?
No, I heard about that. He ain't the only one. Malcolm did too. I mean, so
Okay, now, okay, but they're all wrong. Ain't nobody right. It ain't nobody right. They're all wrong. But I'm just focused on Marcus Garvey. We're focused on
I
Pan-Africanism.
mean, you don't know.
Malcolm
I
X.
don't know why they was doing it, so I ain't gonna say they was wrong. I don't know what they.
But Marcus
You know what I'm
Garvey
saying?
spoke on but Marcus Garvey spoke on it. Like he didn't deny this. Like you said, even Malcolm X didn't deny it. It's open public information. Nobody denies it. Everybody embraces their history and what they did. So we know why they did it. Marcus Garvey looked at the Klan as the modern day ACS. Yeah, that's why Marcus Garvey said Liberia. He didn't say Ethiopia, Nigeria, another African, state. He said Liberia. Why Liberia? Out of all the 54, countries, why Liberia? He said Liberia because he looks at the KKK as a white supremacist power source like the ACS of their time, which they was a white supremacist power source. And he felt like they could get black folks to Liberia. But brother, here's the problem though. When Marcus Garvey had dreams of bringing black people in America to Liberia. By the way, he wasn't bringing Haitians, right, to Liberia. Is that correct?
I don't know, bro. I really don't know. I mean, like I said, that's why I asked you. That's why I asked you before.
So
like,
let's
are
go.
You sure?
Okay, so
hold on,
let's
bro.
go. Yeah,
can I get a statement out, bro? Like, come on, man. I mean, unless you're in a rush, like I was saying before.
I got time.
Like I was saying, I don't know if I don't know, and I don't see why other people from the islands and all that wouldn't join in where they could. So I don't know, but I'm not going to. I know you got your narrative and you got your, I ain't gonna say it, agenda, but you got your thought process that everything FBA and nothing else, and it's like you damn near brainwashed. But
okay, but that's projection. Okay, if I'm brainwashed, that's one thing. But I'm asking you about your information. I'm not feeding you my information. I'm asking you about your information. I'm saying based on what you researched, did Marcus Garvey want to extract Black Americans to Liberia, or was he also extracting people from the island or Haiti to Liberia? Based off what you read and know.
Yeah, my understanding is everybody who was with him from all over the Americas. If you was with him, Brazil, the islands, if you could get with him, he was. That's my understanding. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm telling you.
Okay, I got it.
I want to ask you something, bro.
Wait. Just hold that point.
This is what I want to ask you.
But hold that point. But you're not answering my question though. Okay, so my question is like what you did was like you gave like hope. You said Brazilians. I get what you're saying. This is what you're saying. I'm saying based off what you. Okay, listen. What I'm saying to you though. I'm saying based on what you read and researched.
Yes.
Did you research Brazilians joining the Garvey movement?
No. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen clearly, bro. Listen clearly to what I'm saying, bro. Because I heard you clearly what you said. I'm saying he was with whoever was black that was disconnected from Africa to get with him and be reconnected. That's my understanding of what he was trying to do. Simple as that.
I'm asking okay, brother. Listen. You know in the chat now. All right. So you're not being slick. I'm saying based on what
slick,
okay, cool. I'm saying okay, cool. I'm saying where was Marcus Garvey stationed, by the way, when he was pitching his back to Africa?
I think he was in Philly. Was he in Philly or so? DC or something?
Of course, but I'm saying what country was he stationed in?
In the US.
Okay. So how the hell is Brazilians rocking with Garvey back to Africa initiative in Brazil when he's spreading his message, collecting donations from people in the America?
Didn't he have a newspaper, bro? Didn't he have some type of newspaper, newsletter?
Yeah. And guess what? You asked the question, let me answer. Yes, the Star Line, and that was based in America. That was not in Jamaica. That was not in Brazil. That was not Ethiopia. That was an American-based newspaper. So I'm asking you again. So how did Brazilians and everybody else that you're lying about get a hop on this fantasy of Liberia, bro? Here's the fact. The fact is that all of his 99% of his membership was from America. Okay, now he did have some. Now even the Jamaicans, because he had some Jamaicans, by the way. So he had some Jamaicans, but the Jamaicans were living in America. He did not have Jamaicans in Jamaica. He had Jamaicans living. So if he had a Brazilian, if he had one of those folks, they were living in America. He did not have people abroad. He had people living in America. These are the folks who were rocking with him. They were living in America. Now, if you could provide
you gotta
something,
have a base. You gotta have a base, right?
Okay. Yeah. Wait. Hold on.
Yo, come on, man. You got stuck, bro.
You're not speaking. No, I'm open, but you're not speaking to what I'm speaking to. You're just talking around it because you're listen. What you're doing is you're doing fantasy. You're saying he had to have a base, so all this mystical membership he has. I'm dealing with documented, like his members were, bro. They all listen. His memberships bought stocks, right or wrong.
Now you asking me another question.
No, right? Because I'm trying to establish.
Bro, you know why you misunderstanding what I'm saying? Because
oh my God,
you won't even let me get a whole sentence out,
Go ahead, brother.
Listen. Even when I get the sentence out, you'll find one word out the sentence and focus in on that and ignore the whole sentence.
That's called context. Hey, brother.
You don't ignore the whole context, bro.
All right, so wait.
Our whole sentence. Two sentences. I'm trying to explain a point to you, and you find one word out of one of the sentences and act like that's what I was talking about.
All right, so
then you misunderstand me, and then we just going around and around in circles.
No, we're not going to circles. So let me respond to that, and you go ahead. I'll be quiet. Well, the reason why I got to respond to one thing wrong in a sentence because there's something called grammar when you speak English. Okay, there's something called grammar. When something is grammatically flawed, that needs to be pointed out. Like if you ask a question with an exclamation mark, that's wrong. That needs to be pointed out. If you ask a question with a comma, or a semicolon or a colon, that's wrong. Yeah. So anybody who speaks English, that knows English language, that speaks proper grammar, a decent amount of grammar, is going to say, "Hey, bro, that colon does not belong at the end of a question. It's a question mark." Okay. So yes, I'm trained because I'm educated. I'm trained to see bullshit and point it out. Say, "Hey, bro, that's wrong. There needs to be a question mark there, not a colon." But go ahead.
Okay, if that's a fact, right? Why you can't correct me after I'm done with the two sentences?
Go ahead. No, I'm done. I'm good. Finish.
Yo, me personally, man, when it comes to Pan-Africanism, it ain't about none of that to me. It ain't about the red, black, and green. It ain't about putting on no clothes. It ain't even about going to Africa, bro. It's the fact that, they call us black. Why they call us black? Because our people come from Africa. Our ancestors come from Africa. So if we got to connect on that.
That's not why they call us black.
Why do they call you black, bro? Why do they call our ancestors black, bro?
Okay, well, they never did. What they called it was Negro in color. We called ourselves black.
Negro. What is Negro? What is Negro?
Wait. Okay, hold on. Before I cook you there, just hold on. Just hold on. Okay. I'm gonna cook you there. Because Negro comes from Greek, bro. It don't come from fucking Latin or Spanish. It comes from Greek. Okay, so now I study and read Greek, so you need to relax. Because you're going somewhere you shouldn't go. Okay, so they did not call us so they called us Negro. They didn't call us black. We're talking about two separate words. We got Negro that comes from Greek, because Latin comes from a lot of Latin comes from Greek, and then you got Spanish that's way down the line later. Okay, but what they never called us was black. They called us Negro. They call us colored. What is color? Is color black too? No, it's not. It's different than black. I mean, it's different than Negro. But they call us Negro, and they call us colored. They did not call us black. The word BLACK, that's what we called ourselves that, and it really stems from Elijah Muhammad. But continue.
All right. So what does the word Negro mean, bro, in English?
Are you asking me a question again?
The word Negro comes from the Spanish negro. Negro means what?
Are you asking me a question again?
Yes,
are you asking me a question?
Question mark.
Okay.
Question mark. Yes.
Okay. So let me answer the question. So that was not your first question. You didn't say what Negro means. You said they called us Negro. I said, yes, but they did not call us black. So that was the original conversation. It's what they called us, not what some things mean. Is what did they call us? They did not ever call us black. You were wrong about that.
No,
they called us Negro.
I said Negro, right? I said Negro, right?
Right.
I said black. You said I was wrong. You said they said Negro. Okay.
You're not listening to what I'm saying.
Negro, right?
Okay, cool. You're not listening to what I'm saying though. You said they called us black. I said they never called us black. Yes. Okay. I said they called us Negro and colored. You said what Negro mean. I don't get Negro can mean alien. I don't care. The thing is, they didn't call us that. They called us Negro and color only. That's it. They never called us nothing else besides that. We called ourselves black. through Elijah Muhammad
Where
movement.
do we get black from? Where did he get black from?
Okay.
Where did he get black from?
He got black.
Why did he
English, that's an English word. That's an English word. That's why you said black.
For what? Why? Why do you go from Negro to black, bro? Like,
okay,
there's no correlation?
Okay.
Is there any correlation between the two words?
No. Okay. Now listen.
There's no correlation between the two words.
Okay. So let me. Wait. You asked a question. See, I want you to go, but you keep asking me questions, so I got to respond. So, brother, now I'm gonna cook you again. There's something called correlation does not equals causation. So just because I went to Walmart doesn't mean I robbed Walmart. So the correlation between me and Walmart isn't the cause why Walmart got robbed. So you're conflating correlation with causation, but you're talking to the right guy. You're talking to unbiased Ron. I'm too educated. That's not going to work. The fact is, they called us Negro, they called us color, and that's it. We called ourselves black.
So the word Negro has no meaning. There's no root. There's no root to that word.
Yeah, you ask another question?
Yes, that was a question, bro.
Okay, so let me answer. I don't know how this is missing you. The meaning is something.
I'm asking.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So let me answer. The meaning. Okay, brother, if I call you a leprechaun, right? The meaning of it, I did not call you. I just called you the word leprechaun. Now you don't know why I called you that. All you know is I called you leprechaun. Okay, look. Hispanics were called wetback. Like there was an operation called Operation Wetback. Now the average Mexican does not know that. They don't know why they're called wetback. They just know they were called wetback, and it's a racial slur. That's all they know. But they don't know there was an actual operation called. You don't even know that either. Neither does the chat. But they don't know because I studied the history of immigration. They don't know that there was an actual operation called Operation Wetback, and it wasn't supposed to be offensive. Okay, so now the meaning of it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're calling me wetback. You're not calling me the meaning. So we were called Negro. We were not called. Okay, so what's the meaning of color? They call us color too. What's the meaning of color, bro? Go ahead.
The meaning of color is mixed with Negro.
What?
The meaning of color is mixed with Negro.
No.
They would call a colored person somebody that's mulatto or somebody that's mixed with Native American. You know what I'm saying? What? Somebody that you got to see. You got some of those African features, but you got yo. You asked me a question, right? And I'm giving you the answer, and it's like my understanding is like if you don't have the same understanding as you, it's some kind of way disrespectful. You ask me a question and give you the answer, and you acting crazy.
But you were talking when I was you was talking while I was talking too though, and I didn't get offended.
Yo, either way, I'm not getting offended. But what I'm saying is, okay. But so why did they call it the Negro?
No. That's not the question I asked you. I said what you asked me. What's the meaning of Negro? I said what is the meaning of colored? Give us the exact definition. To you No. Not explain. I want to explain. Give me the definition. All right, then.
I gave you the definition. I gave you my understanding, bro. I'm not throwing I
don't want your personal anecdotal understanding. I want the actual definition. You didn't ask me Hey, bro, you didn't ask me my personal definition. Brother, you didn't ask me my personal definition of Negro. You asked me the definition. What's the definition? I'm asking you the definition of color. I'm not asking your personal anecdotal definition. I don't care about that. Hold on.
I'm about to look it up. Either I look it up or you look it up. If you want to be precise, you can look it up.
Okay.
Bro. Like we both want the computer.
I'll look it up. Okay. So you
all right.
Okay. So you finish billing, right? And I'm gonna look up what was white people's definition of color. Go ahead.
Yeah. From what I started with is when I said there's a reason why they call our ancestors black. You disagree. You know what I'm saying? You said they didn't call them black. You said it was Negro. I said, it's the same. It's a translation of that word. You say, it don't matter. Blah blah blah. All right. So we just stay right there. Why did they start calling them Negro? So that's where I'm at. So when you come back on, that's my question. Why?
Okay.
Why did they call the ancestors Negroes?
All right. So let's first address color. Right. So this is different than what you said. Like you just made some bullshit up on the fly, but let me get the real.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get it.
I said, okay. So what I'm never going to do is make up some bullshit on the fly. Okay, so the term colored people was used to refer to people of African descent, particularly in the United States, as a way to distinguish them from white people. So it had nothing to do with Negro. It just was a way that they came up with to say, hey, he's not white, he's colored. Okay, so now the historical context. The term colored became commonly used in the U.S. during the 19th century. It was adopted, it was adopted by emancipated slaves. Okay, so it was adopted. So now the real definition, there was no real definition. They just called us that just to distinguish us from them. That's it. There was no real agenda behind the word. Just, hey, let's call them something different than what we are. So we could hold laws against them. But there was no true definition behind it. Like there's no real thought process behind it.
Okay. So to you, right? What would you think would be the difference between a Negro and a colored person?
They ain't no different. It's the same shit. They called us both, Negro and colored.
Yeah, they called us both. But you know what I'm saying? But why is it two different words though? You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Oh, right. Okay. So one was politically. I think color was our political terminology, and Negroes more like when they went to sell slaves. You did sell enslaved people. They said Negro, but color was our more political term. Go.
Because even me, right? When I was young, my grandmother used to always say, she used to call people colored people. Like I didn't understand what she was saying. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't that old, but I remember this, this the early 80s. You know what I mean? She used to be like the colored guy outside and all that. She's in Georgia and all that. So, but yeah, I understand that. Huh?
Yeah, she's racist.
But that's how they talk. Like, how's she gonna be racist, bro?
So why didn't she say Negro then? Since if you're right, why didn't she say Negro?
Because I'm thinking it's an older word. I'm thinking, bro, I'm telling you, yo, Ron, I'm not trying to win, bro. I'm not. Me and you, we talking. It's a damn holiday. I'm chilling right now, bro. I got. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like you're trying to win, though. That's what it sounds like.
I'm not though. But I'm telling you, I'm not though. So now you know I'm not.
All right, we'll see.
Like,
we'll see when I ask you another question.
What do we win, bro? Yo, what do we win in this? If me and you, like, oh, who's smarter? Like, yo, bro, I don't know you. I don't need to be smarter than you, bro.
Right. Bro, for me, it's never about winning. Bro. Right, like for me, it's never about winning. My name is unbiased, meaning that whatever the fact is, whatever the evidence is, I just gotta go
trying to cook somebody?
No.
Trying to cook somebody.
Okay, I'm not trying to cook you. I'm explaining why my name is unbiased, Ron. It's because I'm able to accept the truth, irregardless if I disagree with it. If it hurts my feelings, it hurts my mood for the day. Whatever the truth is, I just accept it. Okay, so now Negro, back to the original where we were. When they called us Negro, they called us Negro, did not call us black. Okay, now Negro does not have, when they call us Negro, they don't have a particular reason why they call us that other than to distinguish us from themselves. These were English people, they're not Spanish. So now if they were if these were Spanish folks calling us Negro, we can kind of get it. It means black. But these are English speaking people who does not speak Spanish. They have no Hispanic roots at all. They're English. They're from Britain. Okay, Spanish is from Spain. You dig? They don't speak Spanish at all. So when they use the term Negro, it was for a different reason, which they never really clarified. And he can't give you nothing documented. So, but what folks like to do is, well, hold on. Let me just finish 10 seconds. So what they like to do is they like to play with words, semantics. But Negro means black. It doesn't matter what it supposedly means. Is that they never called us. Okay, listen, chat. Does this make sense? The word black is in English, right? Is that a color in English? Okay, so why not just call us black? If what he's saying is right, why not just call us black? The English people from Britain, they speak English. They don't speak Spanish. So if why not just call us black? Why call us a Spanish word that does not resonate with them? They don't speak Spanish. So they had their own reason for calling us a Negro that had nothing to do with the word black. So I'm still right when I say they didn't call us black. They called us Negro. They called us color. And we called ourselves black, not them.
Okay. Now, the word in Spanish is negro, right? Now, that word is Negro and Negro. Is it the same word?
Who?
Negro and Negro.
No.
The original word is negro.
No, it's not the same word. It's not the same word.
So where did English get that word from? It's spelled exactly the same, right? No.
Yeah,
Or
right.
They add the E. They add the E on it.
And guess
English
what? There's a
adds the
lot
E.
of words. Okay. So it ain't the same thing, right? They add an E to it, so it ain't the same. There you go.
But that's how English spells it, bro. Like, come on, man.
Okay, but
They
it
both
ain't the
Latin.
same thing.
Those are Latin-based languages. Like you can't
No,
reach me, bro.
they're not. What?
Yo, look up that word. Look up the word Negro. Look up the word Negro in that same dictionary. You just look at the other word. And let's see what it says.
Okay. Matter of fact, I'm gonna ask Google the same thing. Why do they call us Negro? And if it don't say black, dude, you're done. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Why did white people call enslaved black Negro? Okay. So now I'm gonna share my screen. Now, if what you saying is right, then fine. Okay. All right. Let me make this smaller. Okay. So it says the term Negro derives from the Spanish and Portuguese word Negro, meaning black. Europeans during the age of exploration and expansion used this term to describe people of African descent. In the context of enslavement, white people in colonial America and beyond used Negro to refer to enslaved Africans and people of African descent. This was the prevalent term used for centuries and for some time. It was even considered the appropriate and respectful term for African Americans. This is reflected in the early use of the capitalized Negro to demonstrate recognition and respect for the racial group. However, the term became increasingly associated with the painful history of slavery and discrimination as a civil right. Okay, so nothing. So all it did was tell us what the word derived from with the Spanish and Portuguese, but when it got to Americans, English people, they never used it in the word in the context of black. They had their own. What I just read. They had their own reason for calling us Negro. It had nothing to do with black. It just called us Negro. They borrowed the term from Spanish, Portuguese, and they called us Negro, but it had nothing to do with the word black. In the context of enslavement, white people in colonial America and beyond used Negro to refer to, not black, used Negro to refer to enslaved Africans and people of African descent. This was the prevalent term used for centuries and for some time. It was even considered the appropriate and respectful term for African Americans. This is reflected in the early use of the capitalized Negro to demonstrate recognition and respect for the racial group. So now the word Negro in Spanish is lowercase. It's lowercase Negro. It's not capitalized. Okay, black is not capitalized in Spanish or Portuguese, but it's capitalized from English-speaking people. So they took the word and they had their own definition for it. Just like we take black, we have our own definition for black. So somebody could come 200 years later and say, nah, foundation of Black Americans, black means evil, spooky, all this dumb shit. It's like, no. You got to use black the way we used it during the time we used it. And we used it as a ethnicity, an ethnic group. You dig? Not the actual definition. So you have connotative definitions, you got denotative definitions. We use the word black in a connotative sense, just like Europeans use Negro in a connotative sense, not a denotative sense. All right? So that's it. But what else you got?
So you remember why I even brought that up in the first place, bro?
You were wrong when you brought it up in the first place.
Well, you just read it. I didn't say anything different than that definition right there. But anyway.
Okay, right. See, but you okay.
Anyway, we can move past that, bro.
Okay, but before wait, no, you can't get the last word. I hate when people do that. People are obsessed with having the last word. Okay. So you said something, I'm gonna respond. So what I read to you where the word derived from, so we all knew it's not an English word. So it told us that it derived from the Spanish and Portuguese. That's what it said. But then it said how your white English Europeans used it. They did not consider the Latin roots when they used it, like as a color. They called us that to give us respect for a racial group. and they capitalized it. The word Negro is not capitalized in Spanish or Portuguese. But anyway, go ahead. Move on.
Well, like I said, I brought it up just so I could say that there's a reason why I'm in it. I'm with the Pan-Africanism. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, like I said, I ain't with the dressing up in the colors and super Marcus Garvey this. And I ain't with none of that. I ain't joining no organization. I ain't gonna say that, but I'm not in the organization. I'm just saying, like, I brought it up to say that we got a connection, bro. We gotta connect. We gotta reconnect so we can
connect with what?
On it. We can with the people that we got roots that we share roots with, bro.
Who you share roots with?
Back to the main, yo, bro. Yo, how do you don't remember where I brought the whole black and Negro thing up in the first place? You don't remember that?
I'm not really interested. I'm more interested in who we share roots with.
Stop. Your ancestors are African, bro. They don't call you black. Why do they call you black for, bro? Why are you a black American, bro?
They don't call us black again. So it goes.
Why do they call you a black American, bro?
Okay. Let's go back to that. They never called us black. We just agreed. They used the word N, capital N, E.
Why do you call yourself a black American, bro?
Okay. I call myself that from Elijah Muhammad using the word black as it.
Where did he get that from? What is black? What is black mean, bro? What is black?
Okay, cool.
What is black mean?
Okay, stop. Because you're asking too much now. You got to slow down. So now, I used to be a member of the Nation of Islam, my boy. I got my ex. So now you're asking the right guy about the Nation of Islam in black. So Elijah Muhammad was clearly fucking anti-African. Okay? Dr. John Henry Clark was mad at Elijah Muhammad because he was clearly anti-African. So you're talking to the wrong guy. There's no way, hey chat, Google this shit. Elijah Muhammad has never spoken highly of Africa ever. He don't even consider them to be Muslims. He considered Hispanics, Blacks, Caribbean, and Haitians as members of the Shabazz bullshit that is part of his doctrine. He don't look at Africans at all as a Nation of Islam or true Muslim. So dude, you're talking to the right guy. So when Elijah Muhammad said black, he did not have African in mind at all. He had Hispanics, he had Haitians, Caribbean, and Black Americans. Dude, the message to the black man had nothing to do with Africa. You're talking to the right scholar, dude.
Okay, I'm asking you though. What is black?
Okay, cool. So now you got it. So when Elijah Muhammad said black, it was about an experience. So when Elijah Muhammad said black, it was an experience. It was people who experienced slavery or had ancestors who embraced or endured slavery. It was about that, and that's why you have it's called the black experience. This was Obama's criticism from whites and blacks, that he did not experience the black experience in America, which is slavery. I already showed clips of that in 2004 already. I could do it again right now. But Obama was heavily criticized by Black Americans and white Americans because he did not have the black experience in America, which is i.e. slavery, my boy. So you could keep trying, and I'm going to keep cooking, but go ahead.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say, bro. So what was the people that were enslaved? Why did they enslave them? Where were these people from?
Okay, so these people were from West and Central Africa.
Okay, but you get people that they call black, right?
Yeah.
The people that had this experience are African people, but they call black. And you some kind of way telling me that you disassociate the two terms. Two terms don't got nothing to do with each other.
Hold on. Okay, so when those Africans from West and Central Africa came to America, what date was that?
Starting in the 1500s, bro.
Okay, cool.
Starting in like
cool.
1515, shit like that.
Cool. So now let me bring up to speed. Let me bring up to the 1800s. Okay. Yeah. So when people were being born in 1800s, were they American or African?
It was if you were born here, your ancestors were born here, they'd be American. You'd be American. Yeah.
Okay. So cool. That is the cutoff because now we are you said 1500s. So now we are 300 to 200 years removed from Africa. That means that nobody has no mother and father from Africa. Every parent, every elder, every ancestor they ever had spoke English. They have no African roots. They have no African dialect, no African culture, dress code, nothing. For 200 years, they've just been American. Okay? Okay, so this is why Paul Cuff, Alexander Cromwell, Frederick Douglass, these guys said, I'm American. I'm not African. And they adopted the terms Negro and color, but they rejected the term African because they seen Africans live in Africa or got some type of, or got some immediate roots from Africa. So this goes back to how people felt in the 1800s, in the late 1700s. They felt like they have no ties or relationships with one African person from the continent. Everybody they ever known in their family lineage was speaking English and had American values.
Yes, that's a fact.
Okay.
But
So cool.
So wait.
Let me add this.
I thought you were done. My bad. I thought you were done. Yeah.
So now, 200 years later, you dig? Because if they felt like that, so if they felt like that 200 years removed from Africa, and we're 200 years after them, 400 years, and we're saying we're not African, we're American, how are we at fault? We're 200 years removed from them who said they were not African.
Nobody said you're at fault, bro. I'm saying the black and the Negro part. What does that mean? What is that about? We know about the American part, but the black part and the Negro part, why is that?
I thought I explained that, but it seems like you just don't accept it. So
no, you trying to jump around it, bro. You the one trying to jump around it.
Okay, so you
that's
explain
in reference to Africa, bro. That's in reference to Africa, bro. Right?
It is? I didn't know that.
You just said it.
No, I said people. I said our roots. We know about the African slave trade, right? It's not called the black, Negro, or colored slave trade. It's called the African slave trade.
Yes.
So Africans came over here, and they came over to Brazil. They came over to the islands and Haiti and everywhere else. Okay, yeah, it was Africans, right? Okay.
So, but when you talk about black, you referring to those people, though. Is what I'm saying.
No.
Why we can't just
no.
Who are you referring to?
Okay.
Who are you referring to?
Okay, cool. So let me explain. We're experiencing. We're referring to people who experienced slavery in America.
Who are those people?
Okay, those people are called. Okay, you just said. Okay, descendants of America.
That's why they. So why you call them black then? Why would you call them black?
Okay, so again, so we're talking. So now we're talking in circles. You're asking questions. I'm answering. We keep asking questions.
No, you're really not answering though, bro.
Okay, no, I'm answering. I'm answering. You, it just don't fit your narrative.
You're not trying to be direct, though. You got a narrative, bro, because you're not trying to be direct. You're the one talking around the bush, bro. Clearly.
Nah.
Everything I said. Okay. No, I said something. You disagree with me, and then you pulled up the definition, and then said exactly what I said, and you act like you didn't read that.
Okay. So I'm gonna say something. Let me know if I'm wrong or right. Let me say something. So did black people? Did people in America, black folks in America, call themselves black first, or did Africans call themselves black first from the continent of Africa?
I don't know, bro.
You don't know that?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, that's why you're confused at my answer. Okay, so now let me talk to the chat then. You don't know, let's just talk. The chat knows. So chat, is obvious and clear that the only time people of African descent, African roots, African DNA, the only time they ever called themselves black was right here in America. So, and guess what? When we said black, okay, well,
why would that even matter?
So now you're the person. Okay, so you're the person jumping in and not listening. See how you're emotional? You're not listening because they don't fit your narrative. It matters because when you say the word black, it has no African roots. It has American roots. That's what I was getting to. When we call ourselves black, we're talking about black Americans. Not when Elijah Muhammad wrote the book, The Message to the Black Man in America, was he talking about Africans in the continent, brother?
No, he was talking about the descendants of them. That's
okay, no, but
in America. Simple as that. That's simple, bro. That was simple.
Yeah. But my question was this though, because we're using the word black though. So was he speaking to black people in America, or was he speaking to black people in Africa?
Yes. America.
Oh, okay, there you go.
The American ones, yeah.
Okay, cool. So that answers the question. So when we say black, we're talking about black Americans.
But you see why you're laughing? Because you like trying to be slick, bro.
Yeah, this guy
like,
is funny as hell,
you old for that. You older than me. You older than me, and you play games.
I'm older and wiser. You dig?
Why you playing games then? Why you playing
Exactly,
games with
Rob.
history?
He asking the same questions. I'm not playing games.
You jumping around the answer,
brother.
Rob?
I'm not jumping around. If you just sit back and appreciate the answers, I think you will appreciate the dialogue even better. You asked the question, when we say black, who do we refer to? And you kept alluding to Africa. We're like, no, we don't think of Africans. We think of Black Americans. And you just agreed. The book was written for Black Americans. It wasn't written for Africans.
So why do they call you black, bro? Why don't they call you anything else? Why don't they just call you?
Okay, you want my opinion? My opinion is because white people call themselves white, right? So we call ourselves black. We're darker than them.
But why do they call themselves? Why do they call themselves white then?
Well, who called themselves white?
Who you just said?
Europeans.
You just said that. Yeah. Well, because European, right? Oh.
No.
Now you understand.
Wait, how you asked me a question? And you asked me a question and answered it. I never answered it. You answered the question and then act like I answered it. Now you see, because you're trying to win. So white people call themselves white, in my opinion, because they're the closest color to white, and we're the closest color to black. But we're black.
That's your opinion. I get it. I can dig it.
And you asked my opinion. I gave it.
But where are these people? Where are these people from now? What is that in reference
to? They're from America. That's where they're from, bro. Aren't Nigerians from Nigeria?
Yes.
Aren't Haitians from Haiti?
Yes, bro.
All right. And we're from America. Okay, cool.
But you understand history, so you understand how America even came to be. So you can't play like you don't understand.
Dude, I have no idea where you're going right now. I'm totally confused.
Let me tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
The fans came over here. They said, "Oh, we're gonna set up a situation right here. Oh, we got work. Africans are selling. They got workers. Okay."
No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. They came over here and tried to colonize America themselves first, bro. So you're not going to skip history. The Spanish, the French, and the Okay, no, I don't know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying, though.
History. No, I don't know.
You're trying not to understand me, bro. You trying not to. We can't have a regular conversation.
No, you're skipping history. They didn't consider us until they fell, and they fell with the Native Americans, and then they considered us.
Yo, Columbus, as soon as he found out it was a situation over here, he was like, yo, we going back to get some Negroes. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, bro, was that after? Wait. Was that after the failure of white folks coming over here or before?
Yo, Columbus, as soon as he came,
that's 1490. That's 1492. Ain't Columbus 1492? Okay. So now I'm asking you this. Okay, slow down. So I'm saying, did the white colonizers, the Spanish, the French, and the English, did they come before Columbus or after Columbus?
The Spanish, the French, and the English.
Yeah.
First it was him. He was on the Spanish and Portuguese tip. Yo, bro. Are you even listening to yourself?
Saying? Hey, bro, you're okay.
Are you even listening to yourself?
This ain't your. I could tell this ain't your strong point. This ain't your strong point.
I'm talking right with you. And you cutting me off, bro. You said the Spanish, the French, and the English, right?
Well, you keep asking me questions. All right, look. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
Don't ask me. Look, here we go. I'm trying to set order, dude. Go for 5 minutes. Matter of fact, go for 10 minutes. Don't ask me nothing. Just go. So right now the time is 4:54. Talk until 5:04.
Nah. For what?
I want you to cook. I want you to cook. I want you to cook.
I'm not cooking about nothing, bro. We trying to come to a point with this conversation. We just not talking.
Because you keep asking me questions and you get. Okay, the reason why I said that is because you keep asking me questions and you get mad at my answers. So I'm like, okay, well, you just go in. You give the answers. Don't worry about my answers. You give your answers for 5 to 10 minutes. I don't care. I'll go on mute. Go.
I asked you.
I know why. Because you need my answers. I know.
You asked me a question. You asked me a question.
I have no question.
Clarifying. I was trying to clarify what you was talking about.
Okay, go in.
You got upset.
No, go in. I'm saying go in. No, I'm saying go in.
I'm gonna go in about. I don't even remember your question. I don't remember your question.
I don't have a question. Exactly.
Hey, bro. I came up here to talk about, because you said something about Marcus Garvey. You told me,
so let's talk about Marcus Garvey. Okay, cool. Okay, so now Marcus Garvey met with the Klan, right?
But what I hear, that's a fact.
Okay. Well, he wrote a no. Okay, so Marcus Garvey wrote a letter to the Klan. This is his writing, and he never denied this. Because Marcus Garvey was outed, by the way. Are you familiar with the Garvey Must Go campaign?
I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about that. I think I mentioned about that.
Okay, so why did you, when you heard about that, why did the Marcus Garvey must hold on? Why did the Marcus Garvey Go Must campaign start?
Well, because they say he was playing with some money or something.
No. See, my boy, like, stop guessing. See,
no, bro, I told you I don't know about that.
Relax. So relax.
I told you that 3 times.
So learn then. So learn. Why are you so hostile? So you should be able to open your ears and learn. Because I'm playing basketball and you're playing tennis. That's what's going on right now. Okay, so the Marcus Garvey campaign, the Marcus Garvey Go campaign, was started by A. Philip Randolph. Do you know who A. Philip Randolph is?
Yeah, I heard it.
No, but do you know who he is?
What happened? I forget what he did, but I think I know that name though.
Okay, but you forgot what he did.
Yeah, man, like there's mad shit going on, man. Like, come on.
No. He's one of okay, dude. No, it's not about that. Here we go. That's your insecurity saying I'm smarter than you. I believe you know. Okay, dude, relax. There's some things you know I don't know. Okay? But that don't mean you're smarter than me. I don't feel like because you know something, I don't know you're smarter than me. That's your insecurity. There's some dude, I'm talking, he's talking, but when he talks, I talk, he gets feminine and gets out of control. I'm talking, you're talking, and I'm not tripping. I'm saying that there's some things I'm gonna know you're not gonna know, but that does not mean I'm smarter. There's some things you're gonna know I don't know. That doesn't mean you're smarter. That's how iron sharpens iron. I'm gonna know something, you're gonna know something. That's how conversations work. So you're asking me questions about Negro and other stuff. I'm asking you questions now. I said, do you know who A. Philip Randolph is? You said somewhat. And I said, do you know what he's known for? You said you don't really know. And I find that interesting because would you consider yourself someone who knows a lot about Black history?
I got a firm understanding. You know, I don't know all the names and the dates. I be forgetting, but you know what I'm saying? I got a good understanding. I know, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Do you know who Dr. King is?
Obviously, bro.
Okay, all right. Well, obviously, Dr. King's mentor was A. Philip Randolph. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, if you know what Dr. King is, obviously, then you should know what A. Philip Randolph is.
But you see what I'm saying? I heard. That's why I heard the name, because he was around that circle. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna act like I'm an expert.
but you should know what he's known for, though. So at this point, since you said you don't know, can you just relax and be quiet? Let me just speak on A. Philip Randolph so you can know finally.
Yo, why not? Possible? Why wouldn't you just do that? Why would you just do that in the first place? You asked me if I knew who he was. I said,
I might be preaching to the choir. Why would I talk to you like you don't know?
But Joe, check it. When I said I wasn't sure, that's when all you had to do was just put me on. That's it.
Okay.
Why we got to go around circles?
Okay, cool. Okay, so you're insecure.
Like, come on, man.
Okay, so you're insecure.
Ain't nobody insecure. I'm just saying.
So do you want to know about him or no? Do you want to know about him or no?
Obviously, I do. While you listening.
Okay, so let me go then. Okay, so be quiet for 2 minutes. Let me go. So this is why not just you, but the chat. You guys need to know, because even Tariq Nasheed spoke about A. Philip Randolph recently and a couple times before. A. Philip Randolph, his name is way more powerful than Dr. King's and Malcolm X. You dig? He did more than both of them combined. Like, they're not on his level at all. Like I said, he's Dr. King's mentor. Dr. King went to march on Washington in '64 because that was A. Philip Randolph's original idea. And guess what? A. Philip Randolph marched with Dr. King, and A. Philip Randolph spoke on 1964 Washington. He spoke. Okay, he is called the father of the civil rights movement. Now, not only that, he linked up with the Italians to pass the labor union law. Also, the child labor laws, where children were not allowed to work under, like, I think 18 years old. That's those Italians got nothing done without A. Philip Randolph. So he's known to just pass laws, discriminatory laws, get rid of them and pass laws protecting American citizens, including the Italian. That's A. Philip Randolph. So this is a name that we should all be well aware of, but we don't know him because we don't read. We listen to white media. Dr. King, Malcolm X, this and that. Hey, brother, do you know who Robert F. Williams is, by the way?
That's another name that I remember, but I don't, it sounds familiar, but I don't remember exactly.
Are you familiar with the Deacons for Defense? Are you familiar with the Deacons for Defense?
I heard of them cats. I know they was around in that circle, in that civil rights circle.
So what you know about them? The Deacons for Defense.
They was armed and strapped up. You know what I'm saying? They was running around strapped up. They was the ones like a lot of the time when Martin Luther King and them was talking about nonviolence, they had dudes like them around on deck. Yeah. Even though that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I don't know the whole. I'm getting older, man. I need to, I need to brush up on my stuff.
No, man. So you brush up by tapping with me. Let's have this conversation live. You dig? So everybody can learn from it. Okay, but anyway, I won't go too far on that. But I do got a video. If you go to my channel, you might have to go to FBA Defensive Unit, right? If you type in Robert F. Williams, you'll get the whole history of him. You're gonna love him. Okay, but anyway. We're talking about Marcus Garvey. So A. Philip Randolph, he was a vocalist that was speaking against Marcus Garvey. Once Marcus Garvey, my brother, met with the Ku Klux Klan. So this ain't rumor. This ain't white Jewish, propaganda. This is a fact. He met with the KKK, and he got called out by FBAs like A. Philip Randolph. And they started a campaign called Garvey Must Go, because you don't meet with the KKK. They are black people open enemy since 1880s. Like, they're the reason why the Black Reconstruction failed. They're the reason why there's a Jim Crow. So why the hell will we link up with them? So yes, A. Philip Randolph and other black people has spoken out against Marcus Garvey for that reason. But that's all I want to say to that. Right? Marcus Garvey did suspect shit. Now both of us know, you and I both know, that Marcus Garvey seen Liberia as a designated stop for black Americans and whoever else. You could say Brazilians, you could say Haitians and Jamaicans. Wouldn't you agree that his resting spot for everybody was Liberia, correct?
From what I heard, from what I understand, yeah.
Okay.
That area, Liberia, Big Sierra Leone, something like that. Yeah.
It was only Liberia. Okay. So at that time, Marcus Garvey was trying to get us to go to Liberia. Would you agree that Liberia had a president, an active president, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you would think that if I'm going to bring people to a country to seek refuge, right? Some asylum seekers, you would think that I should first speak to the president before I make this declaration, this plan, this promise. That would be common sense, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, Marcus Garvey never spoke to the president of Liberia.
That's crazy. So Howard, I heard he never even pulled up over there.
No, of course he did. No, he didn't. But other folks did though. Did you know that there was a ship that went over there of FBA? They went to Liberia. You know that?
But we talk about on behalf of Garvey.
Yeah, Garvey. They're during Garvey time. They were UNI members. Yeah, they went over there.
Word.
You know what happened?
Now what happened?
They got deported back to America. The president said, "Don't send nobody else over here." Right? The president,
because he didn't handle the business. He didn't handle the business for real.
Okay, but the president said, "Yo, I don't agree with you guys repatriating back to Liberia. Go somewhere else." He said, "Don't come here."
Mm.
He said, "Go somewhere else. Like we like what we got already. Like we don't want a bunch of FBAs over here undermining us, challenging us in political positions."
Like, see, you putting your own on that. He didn't say all that. You see what I'm
saying? He actually. Okay. So now I'm gonna mute you. Okay. So what I don't like is because I don't like, bro. I got it because you're slandering me now, bro. If you don't know, shut the fuck up. But don't sit here and say I'm lying. No. I'm dead ass. If you don't know, shut up. But don't say I'm lying and you don't know what's going on.
But I ain't say you was lying. I say you put you put your twist on it. That ain't a lie.
Okay.
Man.
Okay.
No lie.
So okay. All right. So it's not a lie.
I ain't call you no liar.
Okay.
Bro. I ain't call you no liar.
Okay. So you are okay. So I'm gonna call you a liar.
Sensitive.
Okay. So I'm gonna call you a liar. Yeah. One thing I don't like. See, I won't lie on you.
God, bro. Okay,
oh my God. I'm gonna mute your little goofy ass. That you're mad because you don't know history. I'm exposing your stupid ass. Everywhere you went, I embarrassed you, my boy. Everywhere you went. There's no area today that you talked that you knew more than me. I cooked you on every last area you ran to and you kept running. Okay, so now he's going to say I'm wrong. I'm adding my twist to it. But by the same time, he didn't ever research it. This is the guy who says he doesn't know a lot, but all of a sudden know a lot. See, I can't respect that. And then when I say, bro, you talk then, you go 10 minutes, go 15 minutes. He don't want to. It's like, dude, so why are you here? Are you here to give us information? Or are you here to troll and waste time like most of you Pan-Africanists do? So mute yourself and go in. I'll be quiet, but we're not going to keep wasting time, bro. Like, go in or get off. So unmute yourself and go. I think it's #9, *9, whatever. Unmute yourself, go in, talk what you got to say for 10, 15 minutes, and then let's close. But if you can't do that, then you're not bringing anything to the live podcast. So again, okay, so now I'm going to go on mute. I'm going on mute.
Yeah, bro.
Go in.
Yeah, bro. You muted me for that. I'm not going in. I came up here because you said, yo, something about Marcus Garvey. Can Nigerian pull up? Now I pull up and you acting weird. I didn't remember I was going, man. Like, you bugging, bro. We was just having a conversation. You know what I mean? I didn't read nothing about that. But if the man really said, oh, I don't want FBA's pulling up because y'all going to undermine us and this and that, yo, pull it up. Because you sounded far-fetched what you said. I said what you said sounded far-fetched. You start tripping. Oh, you calling me a liar? I'm going to mute you. Like, come on, bro. You playing games, man. You been there 50 years old, and this is what you want to have, man. I thought you, for real, I thought you really want to have a real convo. That's why you're giving out the number, and you're supposed to be unbiased. But clearly you are. And you got a listening problem, too, because you're not even hearing yourself talk. Because clearly you biased. You hella biased. Hella biased wrong. Well, man, have a good one, bro. I mean, if you don't want to keep taking it, I'm out, man. I mean, happy 4th, bro.
All right. So as promised, I let him go in. Yeah, listen, family. This dude admitted he doesn't know much about anything. Right? I asked him about Marcus Garvey. I asked him about Negro or Black. He tried to go to Elijah Muhammad. He didn't know that. I know about that too. I cook you on that. Elijah Muhammad was anti-African, my boy. You got the wrong guy. When he said Black, he didn't consider Africans at all. All right. He considered, like I said, Hispanics, people from the island, Haiti, and America. He wrote the book called The Message to the Black Americans. You dig? Not the Black Africans or the Black African Diaspora. Black Americans. Okay. The Message to the Black Man of America. That's what it's called. That's a fact. So it's not, I mean, dude, I said, go in, like, say what you want to say, teach what you got to teach. He couldn't do it when I asked him questions because he don't have answers. I know what he's doing. He's plucking me for answers. You dig? He's plucking my mind for answers. I know what he's doing. And then he argues with them. It's like, okay, well, what do you have then? Like, what's your alternative answer? Because I'm going to definitely ask you where you got it from. I know it's nowhere. But that is the average Pan-Africanist. Now, what I have not done was uploaded a debate I had with a Pan-Africanist, like who claims to be an active member of the UNIA of today, some bullshit fringe group. And we had a long conversation. I cooked the shit out of him. Okay, so I gotta upload it because it was live, but it went under the radar for some of you guys. So I gotta, and it was not on this channel. So I gotta upload it on this channel. Hi. I'm gonna go wake him up. Okay. Yeah, where'd you go eat? What's on your fingers?
I'm helping Mom on paint.
Oh, really? Yes, because he brought one for Shiloh, one for you, and one for himself. Is your feet hot? They're gonna get really hot because this is hot right here. Well, it's not hot that yet. It's not hot yet. Yeah, but he's ready to wake up. I'm gonna wake him up. Okay. Do you have your water? No, yeah, but you're gonna be hot later. Okay. Where's the pool? I'm surprised. Oh, the pool is broken. Who broke the pool? Oh, and it broke. Okay. Oh, well, yeah.
There.
Oh,
Car.
okay.
This one is your car.
Thank you.
Give me my car.
Okay.
You made a note?
Yes, I made a note. How do you know that? Oh, you are smart. Can you read?
No.
Okay, you're too young. All right. So, yeah, you're young. And you're gonna be nice later? You're not gonna push people down? Okay. Yeah, and that's a fly. He's dead. I killed a bunch of flies.
He's still moving.
Yeah, well, he's gonna die soon. Don't touch them. Flies are disgusting. And they stinky. You got paint in your hair too. Oh my God. You gotta wash your hair. You're supposed to wear a hairnet if you're gonna paint.
Why?
Go get him. Go get this one right there. Go get him. Go right there. He's flying. Go get him. Get him. Get him. I give me. Let me get him. No, you go get him. Go get him. You get him. Go get him. Mm-hmm. He went this way somewhere. But when he lands, you hit him. I don't care if he's on me. You still hit him. No, you gotta hit him wherever he lands. He's over there now. There we go. Get him. Get him. Get ready. He's flying. He's fast right here. You gotta be fast. You gotta move your eyes fast. All right. So let's get back to the plebiscite, brother. The plebiscite babbler.
And we're getting the same results. That's insanity. When are we gonna sit down and come together?
Right here.
But all this other stuff aside, Africa don't need us and we don't need Africa. I'm gonna piss somebody off. I'm gonna say it again.
All right. So now you heard the babbling elder. You know, he's called Baba, right? So he's the babbling Baba, the Baba blabbler. Okay. Because I've been smacking flies all day. That's why it broke. Okay, so you see that now that, you know, what he said earlier about the whole Morris science lie about you don't need a driver's license. Now all of a sudden, once he said Africa doesn't need us and we don't need Africa, now his followers are going to go against him. So one more time, listen.
When are we gonna sit down and come together? But all this other stuff aside, Africa don't need us and we don't need Africa. I'm gonna piss somebody off. I'm gonna say it again. We don't need Africa, and Africa don't need us. We need to come together. You can't help nobody. You can't help yourself.
I object to that, though.
Well, okay, then tell me this, and please answer, because I've been following things. When we go, you say, well, we do need it. Let's see, what do we need from there?
Okay, so primarily the identity, the main thing about white supremacy is minimizing. Can I? You asked me.
Yeah.
So when it comes to white,
that Baba elder would not shut up. Just like Pan-Nigeria.
One of the major factors of white supremacy is to minimize people of. Don't shake your head until I'm done speaking.
Oh, I'm not shaking my head.
Not you. Okay. Sister over here who's talking with her mic off.
Yeah, you see, sister talking with his mic off. So those are muting people. But when I mute people, it's so wrong. All right. So now he talked about the birth certificate and social security card and driver's license. So let's address these sovereign citizen, more science bullshit points. Okay. So they say your birth certificate makes you a commodity or collateral used to pay debt to the laws of London. That's what he said. So that claim is based on a total misunderstanding of birth certificates, international finance, and sovereignty. So where did this idea originate from? You guessed it. It's a fabrication rooted in sovereign citizen pseudo-legal theory that says when you are born, the U.S. government creates a secret account in your name. You all heard this if you were in a community, conscious community. That account is supposedly used as collateral for government debt through the Federal Reserve, which is allegedly owned by the Crown City of London Corporation. All right. But the reality is your birth certificate is just a government record of your birth. It's not a financial instrument, bond, or traded on any market. The Federal Reserve is not controlled by foreign powers. It's a hybrid public-private institution. Okay, here's the other claim that he said, same elder, same Baba. Baba said this. He said there are 12 Federal Reserve banks that control all IDs and legal documents. This is false. There is no centralized control of your driver's license, social security card, or birth certificate by the Federal Reserve banks. The reality is that birth certificates are managed by state health departments. Social security cards are managed by the Social Security Administration, SSA, and your driver's license are issued by the state's DMVs, not federal or banking institutions. Don't do that. No, get out of there. All right, so that's BS. Okay, so the third claim is that this is what he said, according to the 1700s Naturalization Act and Black Law Dictionary, fourth edition, a free white person was someone born enslaved. That's completely false and misread. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to wake him up in a second, okay? Once I get done reading. This is a mistranslation and selective quote mining. Okay, here, take this one right here. No, he's dead. Oh my God, this ain't going to work. Okay, this one's in the sun. I hate when I do that. What you want to do? You want to color on this one? Okay, here. Hold on. Let me give the 4-year-old the iPad so she can color. Thank you. You got the fly.
He's under that living area. Oh, never mind.
Do you want to sit there away from the sun? Okay, let me move this out the way. I'm out the sun. Yeah, I know my leg is hot as a result, but I'll be okay. You dig? Nothing wrong with a little melanin. Some of y'all don't like to get dark. Here, okay, wait, let me move the chair up. Okay, go, sit down. Okay, get him off. Get the fly off. Okay.
They're fine sleeping area.
Let me get him. You take it too long. Let me get him. Okay. Up. I'll hold it. Go. I'm gonna wake him up once I'm done reading, and he'll come outside. Here.
I'm gonna cut right here.
Yeah, because you were being bad. Okay, go. All right. So again, this is a mistranslation and selective quote mining from Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, and the Naturalization Act of 1790, which he was trying to quote. He said 1700. He didn't even know. So what does it actually say? The Naturalization Act of 1790 said only a free white person of good character could become a naturalized citizen. It was meant to exclude Black people, Native Americans, and Asians from U.S. citizenship. I mean, again, I told you guys I studied the history of immigration. That's why I didn't know I even said that. Like this was clearly for white people. Okay. Anyway, Black's Law Dictionary does not say that a free white person was born enslaved. He just made some bullshit up. He got it from the Moorish Sovereign Citizen packet, but it's bullshit. Okay, what it actually says is that a free white person referred to white European men who were not enslaved or indentured. So even like those indentured servants that came from Britain, like the criminal class, were not free white persons. The term does not include African Americans or imply they were white under law. So that's a whole bunch of bullshit. All right, now he also said this. This is the 4th claim: the Caucasian Aryan race cannot be U.S. citizens. They said that's ridiculous and false. This is another misinterpretation. The U.S. has granted automatic citizenship by birth under the 14th Amendment since 1868. Now this part is going to be a little tricky because it's like a little legalese in here. And I gotta when I do my birth certificate video after this one, I will go more into the 14th Amendment and birthright citizenship and what it actually means. So there is no law or legal precedent that says Caucasians, Aryans, or any white people are banned from U.S. citizenship. He just made that shit up. That idea contradicts the entire racial history of the U.S., where it was white people who had exclusive access to citizenship and legal protections for centuries. Yeah, he's bugging. The real danger of these claims, here we go. These types of arguments are a waste of time and distract from real issues like redlining, racial wealth gaps, and mass incarceration. And that's why I say when you folks come over here, if you're not speaking the talking points of FBAs and you call yourself Black, You are an enemy. So if you are FBA, you're a coon. If you're not FBA, you're a tether. Period. But both of you are ops to us. We don't see you as allies at all. You're a waste of time, and you're not talking about things that matter the most. Okay, and reparations. And these are repeated in court and immediately dismissed as frivolous or pseudo-legal nonsense. So the courtroom doesn't respect it. You don't win. You just ruin your career, your job, and everything like that, your license, have all type of warrants. Oh, that's beautiful. That's a snail. That's a beautiful snail.
Again, because he got scared.
Yeah.
Like turtles.
We'll draw another one. Draw somebody else.
Draw you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so these have led some believers to commit fraud or even refuse law authority, resulting in arrest or imprisonment. Right, ruin their whole, livelihood basically. Okay? License damage, all types of warrants. So some Morris and sovereign citizen theories. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Give me 5. Give me. Thank you. All right, wait, let me read this real fast for the chat. Some Morris and sovereign citizen theories claim that your birth certificate makes you government property, or that legal documents are traded like stocks to pay off secret debts to foreign powers. They claim white people aren't citizens and that we are all part of a fake corporation called the United States. But none of these claims hold up under law, history, or common sense. They're not in the Constitution. They're not in real legal records, and they've never held up in court. These myths confuse people, not liberate them. Our real power lies in understanding real law, real policy, and organizing to change it, not in chasing conspiracies that make us easier to dismiss. Right, guys, I tell you guys, be careful with these conspiracy theories. Okay, so now what about this? What about the Morris claim? Because remember, this live is about plebiscite Babel. So let's just conquer it all before we log off. So what about you got some Morris science sovereign citizens say that they have a peace treaty with Morocco that exempts them from U.S. laws. Okay, so again, that's false and misuse of historical documents. Damn. Okay. They often cite the Treaty of Peace and Friendship 1786 between the U.S. and Morocco as proof that they were exempt from American law, which is stupid. That Moroccans are not even exempt. Okay, but what is it really about? The 1786 treaty is real, but it's between two nations, not individuals. It has nothing to do with exempting anyone from driver licenses, taxes, or criminal prosecution like they claim. It was about maritime trade, piracy protection, and diplomatic relations, not citizenship or sovereignty. So you cannot claim you're Moroccan and drive without a license because of a centuries old treaty between governments. It's stupid. Okay, so now what about the license? So they claim that they are not required to have a driver license because they're just traveling. They're not driving. But anyway, if you are traveling in the NBA, that's illegal. You cannot travel. It's the other possession goes to the other team. So even traveling is illegal. All right. So this is false. This is misunderstanding legal definitions. Let's get into it. This is a classic sovereign citizen tactic, redefining driving to mean commercial activity and traveling as just moving freely, right? We're just moving. We're not trying to do trades or things like that. But here it is. Every U.S. state requires a driver license to operate a motor vehicle on public roads, regardless of your race or beliefs, all right? Courts have unanimously rejected the "I'm just traveling" defense. You don't get to opt out of road safety laws. Driving is a regulated privilege, not a constitutional right. Okay, so they're so constitutionalist. Why don't they read in the Constitution they have the right to travel or drive? Okay, so no, you can't drive without a license and claim immunity based on how you personally define the word travel. Okay, how about this? They like to say that they are outside of the jurisdiction of U.S. courts because they are Moorish nationals or sovereign citizens. Yeah, that's a car. They're going to leave. They're going to make a U-turn and go. Look, they're leaving. Okay, so they're outside of jurisdiction of the U.S. courts because they are Moorish nationals or sovereign citizens. And I got to replay my videos on these folks because it's very hilarious. And I'm going to play one video of a sister that got herself in big trouble doing all this dumb shit. Matter of fact, during this live, after I read all this. So no one is above the law in the U.S., not even Moorish people. The U.S. Constitution grants jurisdiction to courts over anyone within U.S. regardless of their claim status, all right? Period. Courts have repeatedly ruled that sovereign citizen arguments are legally invalid and frivolous. Declaring yourself a Moorish national does not exempt you from paying taxes, obeying traffic laws, following criminal and civil codes. In fact, people who try this in court often get fined, arrested, or imprisoned, not because they're Moorish, but because they're ignoring the law. So they also say Black Americans aren't really Black. They are free white people under law. Now, you guys might not know this argument, but this is the age-old argument from Plebiscite Babblers, even the guy who I played the first video today who was debating with Tariq Nasheed, where don't call yourself foundational Black Americans because Black means dead, this and that, this and that. All right. And you're instead a free white person. So this is funny. Thank you. Thank you very much. So this distorted quote from Black's Law Dictionary. So remember, they always profess to read from Black's Law Dictionary, but this is a distorted quote from it. This is based on a cherry-picked phrase from Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, which defines free white persons based on how early U.S. law used that phrase. So that's why they like to cherry pick certain editions. They don't go to 3, 2, 1, 5, 6, 7, just the 4th edition. Okay, so now the real definition, the phrase referred to white European immigrants like Anglo-Saxons, Celts, not actual people of African descent. Roller coaster game? What's the roller coaster game? What? I don't. Roller coaster. You talking about this? Hold on. Give me a second. I have a 4-year-old who wants me to put up a roller coaster video for her. So you know, the children are first priority. There you go.
The birds are stop spinning when the winds go away.
Okay.
Why is it dark?
Your mommy, because it's nighttime. Your mommy wants you.
It was nighttime while we were on the roller coaster.